What a year. Oh my God.
Blockbuster
Hello,
year.
everyone. I'm Brandon Mendel. With me always is Jay Ryan. Tonight, we are talking about not only a 1985 classic, but I would consider an 80s classic all around. John
Yep.
Hughes, The Breakfast Club. Don't you forget about me, and let's pop in the tape. Welcome all. Thank you for bearing with us. Our guest is here. Tonight we are joined by Arielle Zadok. If you are a fan of Late Night Playset, you know her well. She is often just off camera, sometimes on camera. The voice behind Jay Ryan on Late Night Playset. Arielle, you're also a sexologist and an intimacy coordinator, which I think is very interesting. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting to be in a same but different, right? I mean, I'm used to being on shows with Jay for a very long time now. So this is really exciting to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. You were just at Jay's studio yesterday. You guys did a wonderful episode. I was just talking to Jay about it before, but you guys had the production designer JP Connolly on the show last night. Wonderful episode.
Awesome.
Please, yeah, go check it out. Late Night Playset. JP,
He's incredible. What a great guest.
He did all the work on the Goonies house restoration, which we can't talk about, even though we love to talk about it. But also he does The Voice. He does what else did he do? Kelly Clarkson, Double Dare, the reboot of Double Dare. Really great.
So
episode.
many things. Yeah, so many talk shows and game shows. Wheel of Fortune.
That's right.
Just
so many things.
Yeah. Late Night Playset. Go and watch that episode. It's fantastic.
Really lovely guy too. Like just all around good vibes. Great energy. Yeah.
You are so right. You know what that guy does for a living and what he's accomplished. And he was so kind and sweet about what we do here. He was very gracious. So
many people, I feel like the people in our industry go one of two ways. Either you're just like a super nerd like us and we get really excited about the things that we do and we love to be around each other and we love the act of co-creation and all of that. Or you're the opposite and you're just like a narcissist and there's like a lot of power dynamics at play and people are real weird around you. So, I'm grateful to have had incredible experiences with mostly delightful people.
That's actually a really good segue into a Breakfast Club because John Hughes, particularly on this film, but a lot of his films, was a big advocate for collaboration, especially with his actors. He was a big believer in ad-libbing and improv. Even though his scripts are like really great scripts, he was a fantastic writer. He also was the kind of writer to realize like not everything I write is gold and it doesn't work in everybody's mouths. So working with his actors and letting them collaborate with him on the dialogue, on what the characters are going to talk about. He was a big proponent of collaboration.
Yeah, I have to say my background is as a producer and a first assistant director, which both roles work very, very closely with the director. And the most successful shoots that I have ever been on by far, whether it was a commercial shoot or a film or a television series or anything like that, is when the director really trusts and empowers their team to do what they do best. Our job, regardless of what your role is to see the vision that the director has and say, yes, I see your vision, I understand it, and now I'm going to add my special flavor of what I do. And the best directors by far have really trusted their teams to do that, and giving them notes and giving them tweaks and shaping things, of course. But it's that empowerment that really creates such a brilliant product in the end, and such a brilliant creative outcome in the end. It really is that level of trust. And like, I hired you because you're good at what you do. Let me see you do. Let you give you the space to do, versus the ones that are like, micromanagers are the absolute worst. And you're right, and he's right. It's like, it is what everybody adds to the vision that creates something that's super magical and really impacts people on a big way and connects with people.
Totally.
I agree with everything she said. I would just say, like, it seems to me from my experience that it comes down to confidence, the amount of confidence the director has. If the director has confidence in himself and the people he hired, like Arielle was saying, that all of a sudden it just becomes a collaborative environment, like, naturally, right? Because everyone feels free to speak. I think it seems to be, from my experience, the more inexperienced directors, those who just haven't sort of learned the lessons yet, or been, mentored the right way or whatever, and then they tend to want to control a little bit too much. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Arielle?
Yes, 1,000%. It is. Yeah. Generally, that control does come from a place of insecurity, and something that I've found, especially as an intimacy coordinator, because I am working with directors in a different way. And
Not how it's said.
No, well, yeah, but here's the thing. It is a new position still, and there are a lot of people that, or directors that are maybe new to directing or haven't worked with an intimacy coordinator before. And there's this fear that we're there to like direct for them or take over the role. And it's like, does a stunt coordinator do that? No, that's not what the job is. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to help you bring your vision to life. And it's the directors that are really confident and sure of themselves that are like, yeah, no, you go talk to cast. I know that you know the language. So like, I trust that you know my vision.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. You get
this
the
is what I
hand.
want, right? This is what I want. This is how I want things to work 100%. Out. You go and talk to the people performing, and we'll get this done.
And what I found is the ones that are more insecure, Jay, to your point, or newer at the job or anything like that, like it is that level of insecurity sometimes that's like, you can't talk to cast. I'll give them the notes. And then like halfway through day one, they're like, yeah, you just go tell them. It's like,
they realize they can't communicate the thoughts.
Support you.
Or they realize they can't communicate the vision in their head to the person sometimes in the way to get the performance. Yeah.
Or as
I just would say that I've heard you talk about intimacy coordination a lot, but the best analogy I've ever heard you made would be like to stunts, the stunt department, stunt coordinator. Like here's somebody who is a specialist in this particular department of falling off a building, getting hit by a car, punching somebody in the face, yada, yada. And then this is just the specialty. So you're like stunts for sex.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
That's a great way to think about it. Before we get too far in, I want to say hi to the chat, the people that are here.
Video Power too.
Video Power Gaming is here.
Hi.
My buddy, past and future guest, Ryan Dole. He's about to do his show.
Birthday.
Yeah, March 24th.
Happy birthday.
Breakfast Club takes place on Saturday, March 24th, 1984, I believe.
Yeah.
And Ryan's birthday is March 24th.
So Ryan, I think you're an Aries, so shout out.
Very cool.
Orgunian Dave is here.
Hi,
Dave. Gannon Appleby.
Dave.
That's a crossover name. I saw Gannon was watching the show the other night.
Yes.
I was turned too.
Hey Weirdos is here.
That's right.
Fantastic.
This was a good line from the movie. I remember that line from the movie today.
Shout out to Weirdos. Yum.
I wish it was weird. I don't think it's the same Weirdos. I wish.
Sorry. I hear Weirdos, and all I can think about now is the pizza.
Of course, me too. But they're busy. They got a whole storefront now. They just remodeled. They're right across from Warner Brothers. If anybody's here in LA, Weirdos Pizza.
The pizza place. Yes, I see.
We support them. We've been supporting them since they made the pizza in their house and brought it out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good evening,
Dustin Mario Johnson.
Justin, hi.
Surfer Girl is here.
I love that we've got like a bunch of regulars that are here.
Yeah, we've got some crossovers.
Cool. So fun.
Cool. Daryl, 2 nights in a row.
Daryl, don't you forget about me.
Yes, 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 yes. What a strong. That's my first note on this for this
Yeah.
film is Simple Minds, strong start.
Honestly, that way I got to look at my notes when I watched this again last night. And I think, yeah, the first thing I wrote was that iconic song.
You know,
From
and
black screen to da, 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 da. I was like,
Yeah.
right on, well done.
So good. You're like ready to go immediately.
Mhm.
do you know that that is an original song for Breakfast Club? That
Mhm.
wasn't
Did
an
not know
existing
that.
Simple Minds
Did
song.
not
So
know that.
Yeah.
so they had a songwriter who had written the song, lyrics, some sort of structure, and John Hughes and the production were shopping that around to various different new wave UK bands because John Hughes is famously like has his finger on the pulse of music, primarily new wave electronic UK music. Huge fan of
Okay.
it. Um,
Great genre.
Eventually, they landed on Simple Minds. The band recorded the song, but changed it. And they said, well, no, that's not the song we want. And they essentially forced the band to record the song the way that they wanted to the point where the la 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 that's Simple Minds like kind of poking fun at the
Reluctantly.
fact reluctantly, yes, like just
Wow.
throwing it away, like getting it done, like we're not worried about polishing it up. This
Is
is
this
just
not
La
their
La La's
biggest hit?
fillers. It is their only number one hit in both
Right.
the US and Canada. A massive song. I mean,
This
Wow.
we'll
this
talk
song
about it, but
later
like
bec-
this
And it's
soundtrack
timeless.
is
It's absolutely timeless.
Yep.
it's
This song
so
later
iconic.
became the theme song to the Dennis Miller talk show. Dennis
Really?
Miller
Oh, I didn't know
Miller
that.
had a talk show for a number of years on
Yeah.
HBO before there was Real Time with Bill Maher,
Yeah.
and this was the theme song.
Wow.
I mean, and just think like not only is like that song synonymous
Oh no,
with
I'm
this
wrong about
movie,
that. I'm wrong about that. Sorry, wipe it. It's
Okay.
Everybody Wants to Rule the
Edit it.
World. Shit, it was Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Oh,
Damn
that's a
it,
good
damn
song
it.
too.
Oh,
Damn it.
Tears
No,
for Fears.
still didn't know that.
Damn it.
Didn't know that either.
Still a great song.
Sorry. Sorry.
But it
And
is
cool
crazy
fun
to
fact.
think that like this song that the band didn't want to record that became their number one, it ends up being like one of the most iconic songs of the 80s
Of the
movies in
80s.
general.
100%.
That Bender fist pump freeze frame at the end of this movie with Don't You Forget About Me playing,
Yeah.
like I just got chills. I have goosebumps because I guess I should say this is a very important movie to me. I love this movie so much. I'm aware that there is conversations that we'll have tonight about certain aspects of this movie, but from a purely like actors acting, movies that feel like plays, which is one of my favorite sort of like weird subgenres. I love a one location
Yeah.
movie that is just actors talking. A talking head picture is what sometimes they're referred to, but
Mhm.
Or like a
There's
David
just-
Mamet, like a stage play, like a Glengarry Glen Ross, or one
Yeah.
of those that's just
Yeah,
all in
exactly.
one location.
Listen, I come
Exactly.
from theater, so I have a deep appreciation for things like that.
Yeah.
Me too.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
I have been watching this movie. I think I probably 13 years old is when I really got into movies. I've always liked movies, but when I was 13, 14 is when I became obsessed with movies, is when I started buying physical media. And Breakfast Club was one of those movies that was right there at the beginning of my love for movies. So I've just been obsessed and love this movie, basically for over half of my life.
For those paying math attention at home, Brandon was 13 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
No, not even 20. I was
Sweet
was-
child.
Oh wait, it is 20. Really bad math. It is 20 years ago. Thank you, Jay. Kate,
Wow.
you
But
erase
just that you're the
Edit that out.
youngin of the group.
You are the youngin. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I
I'm
recently
33.
worked out that I've been working in production for half of my life. And I was like, oh boy, I shouldn't have done that math.
I've got you beat on that. Well, I guess
I
you don't
know.
count the down years, do you? But if you counted from here to the beginning, because I started in high school, it's 30
Yeah.
years, over 30
Yeah.
years,
Wow.
Yeah.
which is crazy if you count like
You got a few
internships
on
at the
me.
local station and stuff.
You know
Or
what?
30 Rock.
yeah, if I count it, well, okay, you were at like 30 Rock and things like that. But if I counted all of video production, then I would have to go back to high school as well because I did start,
Right.
creating things. And
Right.
if I was going on stage and how long I've been on stage, that's since I was 4 years old. That's when I started dancing, and that was when I first performed. But
Right.
yeah.
Oh, I
Some of
like
us
going back to the
lifers.
beginning. I like going back to the beginning because then technically elementary school is when there wasn't an AV club, but I became the guy in school that would wheel the TV from room to room and bring the
Yeah.
camera to record the assemblies and
Yeah.
stuff in
Mhm.
fifth
Yeah, so
grade
you
or
were
whatever
working.
that was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I loved it, obviously.
Same. Same.
I'm curious about how either of you came to Breakfast Club. Is this in the theater? Is this a home video? Where do you remember when you first sort of saw Breakfast Club?
Arielle,
Well,
go
I was
first.
2. I was 2 years old,
Okay.
but my sister is 13 and a half years older than me. So it's hard to tell what came from just like being a person in the world versus like I had a big sister, and that gave me a lot of access to things that were far beyond my years. Same thing
Yeah,
with my brother. My
classic.
brother was 13
Yeah.
and a half years older than me. So 3 and a half. So I was I was the baby of the family, but I'd always been hanging out with and surrounded by older people, especially with my sister. Like, sister relationships are special. My sister was kind of like my sister, mom, best friend. Like, whoever I needed
Yeah.
her to play, she would fulfill that role. So, a lot of my early influences were from her when I was way too young to have exposure to things like that. So, I don't know if it was from her, but I have to imagine probably. But
Yeah.
whatever it was, it would have been young, but I've seen it so many times now that I couldn't possibly remember what that first time was, or if it was with her or if it was with friends. But I have to imagine it was with my siblings because, that's your earliest influences. And I was
Yeah.
obsessed with both of them.
And it feels like a movie that an older sibling would share with a younger sibling to be like, hey, like this is what's coming high school.
Yeah.
Just be prepared. There's these kind of people, these conversations are happening.
Or we just be
Sharing
around.
this movie with a younger sibling would be the equivalent of in Almost Famous when the older sister gives the the brother the records.
Yes.
Like, you're going to listen to this and you're going to understand how the world works. It's
Yeah.
kind of the same. I agree with that. Yeah.
And
I'm
I
gonna
didn't
text
even
her. I'm
have
gonna
any
see if
siblings,
she
but I
did,
could see
if she
sharing it.
shared this with me, because now I'm curious. She's probably not around, but I'm gonna ask her anyway because we're gonna be here for a while.
What about you, Jay? Do you have any memories of an early Breakfast Club viewing?
Not an early one. This movie is not something that I liked when I was young.
Interesting.
For some reason, tonally, my friends liked it, other people liked it. Certainly kids older than me liked it. Although I am the only one here probably old enough to have seen this in the theater. I did not.
Yeah.
But I grew up, with people talking about it, and I certainly, had seen it here and there through camp or school or whatever the heck, bits and pieces, but never in a single sitting. And then, ironically, when we were doing the DeLorean restoration,
Yes.
Joe Walser and I were working really closely for a long time on that, and it was his favorite movie. It was one of his 2 favorite movies, and he's like, "What do you mean you've never seen it?" And I was like, I don't know. I just haven't seen it. Certainly not as an adult. And I watched it during that period. And that would have been my first like adult viewing. So whenever we did the time machine, 2012, maybe.
Wow.
And I told her, I was like, yeah, I get it. This is great. It's definitely not the kind of movie that would have held my attention when I was a kid. It's very dialogue-y. This movie reminded me of early Kevin Smith, like Clerks. Like, this is so dialogue-y.
Yeah.
It gets
Well,
very
but
mellow.
kids aren't necessarily that way, so it sort of seems a little.
Well,
yeah.
and that's what I was
Unless
gonna
you're a
say is
nerdy theater kid.
it gets sort of melodramatic, right? Like, yes,
Yeah.
they're kids and they're talking about kid problems, parents and drugs and acceptance and all this kind of stuff. But there is points in this movie where it's very melodramatic. It's very much theater, right? Like, especially when Bender is like mimicking Brian's home life and then doing
Oh, yeah.
his own home life.
Hey,
Like,
Dad.
That
Yeah.
scene,
yes,
wow, that scene, wow.
There
yeah,
were a
We're
few
gonna go
scenes that
into
really
that, I'm
got me.
sure, but like there were moments in this film that you were just absolutely captivated,
oh my
and that were
god, I
I
know.
agree with
so
that too. I
grounded
think that's one of the
and
reasons I
so
didn't
real.
like it when I was younger. It was like I was trying to survive my own childhood, right? And this movie was
Yeah,
like throwing more at me.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense for sure. My sister says not so the exact answer that I had.
yeah.
My brother probably won't respond.
Um, well, yeah, we'll get into a lot of it. I want to start with John Hughes. John Hughes is a very important figure of the 80s in general. Um, you know, people obviously, I'm sure, know the name John Hughes, but not only did he give us Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, he created the National Lampoon Vacation franchise by, he actually was a contributor and an editor in National Lampoon magazine before the Animal House days. And he wrote, this is the first appearance. This is the story. This is Vacation 58. And
Wow.
this is the story that inspired what became
The
the
movie.
Griswolds and
Oh my
the
gosh.
Vacation franchise. In
I
fact,
love that.
actually, while we're talking about that, I have this issue too. This is one of the things I got Chevy Chase to sign when I met him in Orlando,
Look
as
at
we were talking
that.
about. So this is the 1983 issue of National
Ooh,
Lampoon, and they were
I was born in '83.
advertising the new film Vacation. So it comes with like a fold out poster. But
Here's
one
that
of the
arm.
things I love about this is they reprinted Vacation 58 and they did new artwork that
Oh wow,
shows
Oh, wow.
Mark
crazy.
and Ellen and the kids and
Very
Aunt
cool.
Aunt
Edna.
Edna. Yeah. But so that's the thing, is that he was just a comedy writer. He was writing jokes for Rodney Dangerfield.
Mm.
Got involved in
Oh, I
National
tell you.
Lampoon.
Get no respect.
Could have been a John Hughes.
Oh,
Whoa, take my wife, take her.
Ah,
that's
Um,
God.
you're doing. That's terrible. You're doing it. Jim Carrey doing Andy Kaufman in the movie.
Oh my God.
it's deep.
her. Take my wife, please take
Oh, take a, oh yeah, Andy Kaufman. Yeah. But
John
so
Hughes was on a roll, man. Like I was looking at it at the IMDb last night, and it was like, I think it started in 1984, and every single year until maybe 1989, it was like hit after hit after, it was cult classic after cult classic
Oh,
after
yeah.
cult, like years, just back to back to back to back to back, which is extraordinary.
yes, and then there's also the projects. Did you know that John Hughes was the original writer of Dumb and Dumber? He sold his spec script, or whatever version, whatever draft of the script he had. He sold it to the Farrelly brothers, and part of the deal was to remove his name from it. And then they took it
Wow.
and they Farrellyized it. But Dumb and Dumber was the John Hughes idea.
Crazy.
He also gave us Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, one of my
Yes.
favorite movies. Ferris
One of the
Bueller's
best.
Day Off. Uncle Buck, he wrote the script
Yep.
for.
Yes, I love
Mr.
Uncle Buck.
Mom.
Home Alone.
Both, well, technically 3 Home Alone movies he wrote the script. Dennis the Menace later.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot
Baby's
about
Day
that too.
Out.
Wow.
Flubber with Robin
Flubber.
Williams. The live action 101 Dalmatians movie.
Oh, love
Um,
that.
Was
And
Flubber a
then-
remake of The Absent-Minded Professor?
Yes,
'Cause Flubber was
exactly.
in that too. Okay, got it.
Interesting.
Yes.
Also, I have received confirmation from my brother who said, almost definitely me. I love that movie. And he sent a GIF of the arm.
Yes, that's
So
awesome.
hopefully he's going to join us. We'll see. If a Cool Monk X joins, it's my brother.
That'd be sweet.
Funny.
So besides all the John Hughes, named pictures, he actually also had a pen name, a pseudonym that he
Really?
went by, Edmond Dantes, which is a character from The Count of Monte Cristo. He penned scripts under that pseudonym, giving
Huh.
us Beethoven, the Charles Grodin classic, is
Wow.
an Edmond Dantes film or script, which is actually John Hughes. Made in Manhattan, the Jennifer Lopez
wow.
movie from 2002, and then a movie that was made right before he passed away, Drill Bit Taylor with Owen
Oh.
Wilson.
That's
Holy
hilarious.
shit.
My friend directed that movie, and I got a childhood friend a job as his assistant. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so Drill Bit Taylor is a John Hughes script. Now, I don't know if it was
That's
necessarily a script that was written in, 2007. I think
Yeah.
it may have been a script that was floating around for a while and then finally got picked up. But
As
it is
they
the
do.
Edmond Dantes name on Drill Bit Taylor, which is John Hughes.
Wow.
So it's
Steve
just
Brill directed that movie. That was a weird. That was a weird movie.
Wow.
I have
I had no idea.
I have not revisited Drill Bit Taylor since 2008 when it came out. I don't even. I remember the cover. I remember Owen
Yeah.
Wilson like.
There you go. Me
Like,
too.
He's like. I think he's like kicking or something. Maybe
Is
it's worth
this
a
the
revisit.
universal sign for kicking?
Yes.
Looks like-
Well, you can't see my bottom half.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
I gotta get a bottom camera
you gotta
down
get
here.
the leg up there, buddy.
You couldn't see the. Oh, I don't know if I can get it that high.
Yeah, you can do
Brandon's
it. You
under the desk cam.
We see a leg. We see a leg.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I had no idea. I knew. So when I was looking, listen, I was on IMDb while I'm watching the movie last night and it was late. So I was surprised to not see as much as I thought I was going to see, but I didn't go into the writer aspect of things. And that's why, because he
Yes.
actually did not direct as many things as I
No.
thought he directed. And that's why I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, how did he did all these and I knew all about
He
those.
wrote and produced so many though.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So yeah, he has so many screenplay credits, but he only directed 8 films in the course of his
Yeah.
lifetime. And the truth is, Breakfast Club was actually supposed to be the first film he directed. And that's partly the reason why it is 5 people in one room talking,
Mhm.
because he was a new director, right? He had the credibility as a writer, but he wanted to direct. And so he thought, well, if I make a small picture with a number of people in one location, I can get the money and we can just go and shoot it. He actually ended up writing Breakfast Club before 16 Candles, but just the way the world works, they wanted to get 16 Candles out first. And so 16 Candles became his directorial debut. And through that, he ends up finding Molly Ringwald and Anthony
Mhm.
Michael Hall, casting them both in 16 Candles.
Yeah.
And then
And-
later Breakfast Club.
Yes, and
Which
then the
is-
6.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's
Awesome.
awesome. I didn't know that that's how we got them, because to me both of those actors are integral in why this movie's good. They all
Yeah.
are really, but really they both do excellent work in this.
and Judd too. I think Judd is integral to this film.
I agree. I'd say he's the heavy lifter of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, his performance is wow.
Yeah.
There was
I
actually
definitely agree with
I'm
you. He
gonna wait
goes
to talk
everywhere.
about it,
He
but
goes
there's
to
one
some
scene
very
that I want to talk
places.
about for sure.
I mean, he's incredible in this
Yeah.
movie. I think he's the character that deserves conversation, because the things that he does specifically to Claire, they as we're getting further and further away from the 80s and the 80s movie of it all, there is some problematic things that
Oh,
the
for sure.
character of John Bender is doing, and then the movie itself does not really help that by, in the end, having Claire, go and kiss him on the neck. I think that there is reasons why she's doing that. I think that she is in a way trying to get a rise out of her parents, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
She wants.
Well, that was his point, right? That's his point.
Yes.
It's like, what would be better to make this point?
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then
How are they
me.
going to react to me, right?
Yeah.
Which I did think that a kiss on the neck was a very interesting choice. That felt strange and interesting to me.
Yes. Yeah. He does treat her very badly. Like, and
Yeah.
that is the John Bender character. that's how he sort of talks to everybody. But the more I watch this movie and the more I grow up, the more I see it, the sort of cliche
Mhm.
trope of like, the
Hmm.
girl falling for the bad boy.
That was the exact
Well,
And
language I was gonna use.
what is
The
huh.
the
well,
message
so
that
but
this
let's
film is
even
giving us?
yeah, let's go back even further because little girls are taught when boys are doing really shitty things to them and bullying them and beating them up and stuff like that, it's just like, "Oh, he just likes you.
He
Oh,
likes
he
you,
just likes
yeah.
you." And so
So
that
that was what I was going to say. That's
yeah.
exactly what this felt like to me this time through, because I remembered that they get together at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it just felt to me, the moment he started in on her, I was like, oh, it's like little kids. He's picking on her because he likes her. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's right for the movie, but I think that's sort of what was going on.
It was
Is that what you're
100%
saying?
the behavior of the
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's what was going on and it was the behavior of the time, but I think that there's also a disdain that he had for her and for people like her, which is what you see between the characters is this disdain for these archetypes, especially between someone like him who's getting literally beat by his parents and this archetype of this perfect popular girl who has everything, who is rich and her mommy and daddy give her everything that she wants. There is this hatred towards that, and there is there are all of the, I mean, the whole thing is a matter of archetypes, right? Like you've got the nerd,
Exactly.
you've got the weird girl,
Yes.
you've got the popular girl, you've got the bad boy, you've got the athlete. I mean, the whole thing is the brain, the athlete, the basket case, the princess, the criminal, and to a degree they're all playing a role. I don't know how authentic other than Anthony Michael's character.
Yeah, Brian.
I don't know how authentic any of them actually are as this is who I am, because I don't think that Emilio Estevez, I don't think that his character wants to be that guy. He just happens to be good at those things.
Yeah.
I don't
right. I mean, they say at the end,
point,
they realize that they're all of the things.
They're all
everybody is every character.
They are all of those things. And they're, yes, maybe they realize that at the end, but I think before that, they're all just kind of playing into these characters that they have been given in life. And I think that all of us do that to a degree. We're all typecast in this life. And when you allow yourself to play into that typecasting, then you become XYZ, and then it all becomes confirmation bias. And then you're behaving in ways that perpetuate this idea of you versus who you actually are.
Yeah. And that's exactly what John Hughes was doing with the film and these archetypes. And what I was going to say to your point, John Hughes is the brain. So that's why Brian feels like the most accurate, genuine, real character.
That was going to be one of my questions. Which character do you think John Hughes is?
That is,
he is definitely the brain in this situation, because he's not the criminal for sure. He's not the princess, and he's not the athlete, and he's definitely not the basket case. But yes, he himself,
basket case. She's not even really that. She's just so starved for any sort of attention because she's just not getting it at home. And I think, I for sure knew people like that who were just, and it was heartbreaking because some of them did wind up falling into, mental illness and cutting and things like that, which is so sad for a child. And when you look at this again as an adult, you're like, these are all children. They're children. They're 16, 17 years old, maybe 18 at best, but they are children. And so when you rewatch this as an adult, especially seeing how, what's his name? The principal, Vance?
Vernon,
Richard
Vernon. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you see how he is treating them, it's like, which I guess I get, it was the 80s and adults did treat children differently, but it's like, man, these are children. And the scene that, maybe I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but we're here. So the scene that really stood out for me the most is the scene with him and Judd in the supply closet. The supply closet.
Yeah.
the performance coming from, first of all, the tension of that scene and this adult man trying so hard to get a child to hit him is so incredibly fucked up. And the fact that he is taking
He
him.
knew he wasn't going to hit him. He knew he wasn't going to hit him.
He wasn't going to. Of course he knew.
He was trying to prove to the kid that he's not so tough. He's not as tough as he thinks he is.
And
he's trying to pop his bubble.
And he also knew that if he did hit him, he would like have him for life, right? Like I think that there are
he's already got him for 8 Saturdays. He's going to get him for another 8 more.
So, it's actually 7, okay? It's actually 7. But
we'll get the horns.
Yeah, but there was the performance from Judd and the actual fear and vulnerability and this moment where you actually see that he is a child.
I totally agree with you.
Beautiful and profound, and the performance was like, I almost cried watching his face.
You see the Bender mask fall. He's no longer in control, and he is. You're right. I didn't think about it like, yes, he's a child. In that moment, he has lost his confidence, his power. He's alone. He's not performing for any of the other kids in the library. It's just him and Dick. And he's completely vulnerable. He's kind of the truest self that he is in that moment. And that's the real John Bender.
And you have to remember that this is a child. Yeah, he is scared. Exactly. It is exactly that. This is a child who is used to being hit by his father. That's true. So now he is in an incredibly abusive situation. Let's not mistake that in any way. This is an adult man putting a child in a supply closet and locking the door with no ventilation, no windows. Like, what the fuck?
And threatening to hit him.
I can curse.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Great. So I also think that this is like, we're seeing the real version of him, but it's also for him this moment of, is this man gonna do the thing? Because no one's gonna believe. He's right. No one is going to believe me. If he hits me, no one's gonna care. No one's gonna believe me. It's not like my parents who already beat me are gonna do anything about it. I'm fucked. If something happens, like, so be it. And I just, like it was
he's known as a liar, right? Bender is known as a liar. Even amongst the, like, I think Andrew calls him out on something, or like he's being hyperbolic, even about his home situation and his
when
cigar
he was
they were like,
dad and whatever. He was like, bullshit, it's not like that.
But it's also for a child hard to imagine and hard to believe when someone else's parents are doing that to them. Like from the perspective of a teenager, you're like, whatever, man, like you're just lying. You just want attention. I think it's also just very hard to believe that a parent would do that to a kid, especially as a kid. It kind of breaks this wall of reality of safety and protection to like, it's easier for them to believe that like this bad boy is lying because he just wants attention.
Exactly. And all of them have issues with their parents, right?
Yeah.
Brian is feeling the pressure of academia from his parents. We see when Ali Sheedy's the basket case, when she's dropped off, the car drives away so fast, right? There's no interaction. Claire gives us the information that her parents are sort of pitting her against them, and that dynamic is messing her up.
But the first thing that we see is that it's her dad, and her dad is like, oh, well, you can't just skip school to go shopping, but I'll give you some other things anyway. So they've already that opening scene, he did a great job setting the scene for the dynamics of all of these people and their parents, because it was, I think first it was Anthony Michael Hall and his mom, who was helicopter parenting him and making sure this and that. And I think they were talking about grades, and the sister was in the car. So you see that aspect of things. Then you see Molly and the person playing her parent. And he is like, well, you can't just skip school to go shopping. You're going to get it anyway. And like, here's this thing. So like, there's this monetary thing, and there's this spoiled child thing happening. And like, he's throwing money at it thing. Then you see Allie and her parents then you see Emilio.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
I think
Andrew
then it's
dropped off.
Emilio.
Yes.
Yeah, Andrew. And his dad is like, we see those beginning seedlings of
It's
competition
Yeah,
and
it's the
you know,
pressure of success and the
yes,
ride,
following my
the
footsteps,
scholarship.
all
Yes.
that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you see Allie getting
Bender.
dropped off, and you don't even,
It
and I love this, you don't even get inside the car with her.
No.
It
You
is
don't even
that
see her
far
parent,
removed.
her
Yep.
parental figure. We don't know if it's a mom or a dad.
Exactly. We have no information. It's just her getting out of a car. And I
And
think
then
she kind of turned around to say goodbye and it speeds off. So it's like
yeah,
really telling the story of like, these people don't give a shit about this kid.
yeah.
And even more so, then we see Bender and then we see him
Alone by
coming
himself
completely
walking.
alone. Where
Yeah.
is this child coming from? Where is he? Where was he? Nobody knows. Nobody cares because
Yeah.
he doesn't have parents that care. So I think that from a script perspective, that was something that I realized before, but watching it again for this show, I was like, wow, that was some good writing there just to kind of plant these
The
very quick,
setups.
efficient seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and then we even have right after that another dynamic setup is now we understand sort of the dynamic of the parents and the
Mm-hmm.
kids. Then we go into the library and now we get the dynamics, the hierarchy of
Oh,
the
yeah.
kids, right? Um, Andrew and Claire sit at the same table. We've got the prom queen and we've got the jock, Then Brian sits at another spot, and then when
Mm-hmm.
Bender comes in, he takes Brian's spot and
Yep.
bullies him into moving,
Without
right?
words.
Without words. And Brian, he says, okay, yeah, he moves right away. And then Allison comes in right all the way wide around the back. So
Mm-hmm.
we've just seen all of the dynamic of the kids and their parents, and now we're seeing the dynamics of the kids with each other. And those are the things that I think make this movie masterful.
Yeah.
Regardless of dialogue and the acting that comes later, some really incredible scenes. It's just these like visual motifs that
Mm-hmm.
we're understanding so much subconsciously. We're just getting all this groundwork laid right off the top with barely any dialogue.
Well, interpersonal dynamics make us who we are. And I talk a lot about power dynamics in the work that I do. And I teach a lot about power dynamics. And we are seeing all of that play out because power dynamics are completely fluid. Depending on the room that you're in, what your role is in that room, and who else is in the room, your power is going to shift and it's going to look
Yeah.
different. So even as these kids are in different couplings and they kind of square off with each other, or like this is a 3 group or this is a 2 group, or this one's with the principal or this one's with their parents, you can see all of those power dynamics at play and
Yeah.
how things like weave in and out of each other and who they are in these different scenarios. And
Yeah.
not everybody does that well. Not everybody shows those interpersonal dynamics in such a way that is really true to life.
This would be a really cool movie to chart the power dynamics.
Oh my God, yes.
And see where they swap, right? Because
Yes.
you've got the obvious, like the Bender in amongst the kids, Bender
Yeah.
holds the power majority of the film, but there
Yep.
is moments where Andrew has more power
Yes.
than Bender, and Claire has more power, and even
Yep.
to a point, Allison, she
Yeah.
ends up having more power at certain points, and then obviously when Vernon comes in, he has the power. So
Sure.
that
Yeah.
would be a cool experiment to
It
chart
would
them all.
be, because anytime Vernon enters the room, he holds the power. And anytime Judd enters the room, he holds the power. And I would say the biggest power struggle in the entire movie is between Vernon and Judd until we see them alone.
Yeah.
And then it is very clear who holds the power.
In
Yeah.
fact, one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is when Vernon is dishing out all of those detentions
yeah.
to Bender, and you can see him thinking about,
Mhm.
am I going to give in
Yeah.
and let him win? Or I just love the way at one point he's like staring daggers at Vernon, and he
Yeah.
pauses and then it's almost like a reaction that he can't stop, and he does like a
Mhm.
no, like he can't help
He
himself
wanted,
from
yes,
being
yes.
to egg antagonistic and egging him on, and
You could
in a
feel the
way
restraint.
he's showing everybody in that room that like he doesn't care, right?
Yeah.
But you can tell watching that performance that there is an internal struggle going
Mhm.
on with Bender. And I, that Bender scene is one of my favorites, along with that supply closet. I think those are just like some of the strongest moments in this film.
Absolutely agree. And part of the reason why they are so strong is because we're seeing those power dynamics at play. We're seeing this level of vulnerability from someone who has this persona that he has to keep up, this identity that he has to keep up, this protection. All of it is like this, the way that he is in the world and the way that he is with other people is how he keeps himself safe. Because when he goes home, he is not safe. And he
Yeah, he
knows
doesn't
that
have
he
the
is not
power.
safe.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. So when
He's the
he leaves
child.
that house, as soon as he is away from these people who are hurting him, which is his parents, he then is in a position where he needs to make sure, however he gets it, that he is going to hold the power in that room. And so we are actively seeing him hurt himself. He knows that he's hurting himself, and that's where the
Yeah,
restraint comes from. He does not want to continue going down this path, but
yeah,
he, in this atmosphere, cannot let that mask go. He cannot let that guard down. He has to retain whatever power he can, because if he lets these people who see him in this powerful position and see him as like this, criminal guy or whatever the archetype is, if he lets them see any level of vulnerability, he loses his power. And this is the only place where he has power, because out on the
yeah.
streets, he doesn't have power there either. So that's really what we're seeing. And it is, like you
It's
said,
a
it's one of the
performance.
best
Yeah.
performances. Absolutely.
He's performing for everybody else in that
Yeah.
room.
And we're
Um,
seeing that inner struggle. And I mean, yeah, I agree. It's it's just a
it's
fantastic
it's
performance.
great.
Mhm.
Um, I want to do a couple more production things. So John Hughes wrote the first draft for The Breakfast Club in 2 days over the course of a weekend,
Wow.
uh, back in 1982. So, like I had mentioned earlier, he actually wrote Breakfast Club before Pretty in Pink, or sorry, not Pretty Pink, before 16 Candles, but ends up making 16 Candles instead, and then does Breakfast Club after 16 Candles. Through 16 Candles, he gets Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall. Before 16 Candles is even done, he already knows that his next movie he's going to line up is The Breakfast Club, and he wants Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall again. Although the initial casting for Molly Ringwald was going to be Allison, the basket case,
Really?
but it
Oh,
was
wait, I have
Molly.
heard that.
Yes, but it was Molly herself who said, "I want to play Claire."
Yeah.
And she was the one who initially, the costume designer had her all in like frilly pink, very very, quote unquote girly, and she was the one who said, "I don't want to be frilly pink girl. I want to be Ralph Lauren high end, um you know New York elite sort of
Get
fashionista." And that's
getting
why
out
she,
of daddy's BMW.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
What a great
Which,
call.
fun fact,
What a great call.
that BMW is actually John Hughes's BMW they used for production.
Looked like a
Nice.
635i. I was very impressed.
And while we're talking real quick, I don't want to forget this fun fact. Anthony Michael Hall's mom and sister play Brian's mom and sister at the
Really?
beginning of
That's
the
so
movie. Yeah,
cute.
that's actually his mom and sister in the car dropping him off.
Oh, I
Um,
do love that.
Here are some of the other people that were auditioning for Claire around that time. Robin
Ooh.
Wright. Robin
Oh.
Wright is Forrest Gump. A lot of people,
Yep.
she plays Jenny in Forrest Gump. Ended up playing Kevin Spacey's wife in House of
Mhm.
Cards. She was fantastic in that
Mm.
show.
I think she would have done a good job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Princess Bride. That's Robin
Yeah.
Wright is also
Yep.
Princess Bride. Jodie
Favorite.
Foster,
Mm.
Diane Lane, and Laura Dern. Now, Laura Dern,
All good. All good.
yeah,
All good
I-
choices. I think the runner-up would have been Robin. I think of all of them, Robin she's probably my second choice there.
I'm
Funny,
a
I see her
massive
as being
Laura
more
Dern.
the basket case.
Really?
Hmm.
I
There's
think
something about her face though that gives me more Claire character than what's her name? I forget.
Ellie Sheedy.
then
Oh
Laura
no, her
Dern
name was
or
Allison, right? Yeah, because
yes,
I kept
Allison
getting
Ali
confused.
Sheedy plays
Played
Allison.
Allison. Yeah.
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 Um, I, we'll talk a little bit more about Laura Dern at some point in this show because she has a movie that comes out in 1985 called Smooth Talk, which
Ooh.
I saw for the first time last year. Actually, right here.
How many movies are back there?
Thousands. So this
I
is
want a number.
a young Laura Dern. It's like
Look at her.
5,000 something
Shit.
movies.
Is that Patrick Dempsey? Who's she with?
No, what is his name? Treat Williams.
Oh, lovely.
Williams.
Treat Williams.
Treat Williams with care. Wow.
It's funny
Look
because
at her.
I was going to bring up that Carl, the janitor, plays Robert Morton, who is a future guest on Late Night Playset. He was Letterman's longtime producer in the Late Shift movie. And then Treat Williams happened to play Mike Ovitz in that same.
That's
same
so
movie.
funny.
Okay. Well,
I was really surprised to see that all of them they're like, everybody in the cast is still working if they're alive. I was looking on IMDb last night. All of them are still working. The latest stuff, for the most part, was from like 2025 for most of them, which is impressive for 2025, I got to say, given our industry.
Yeah. I mean, you could ride off the Breakfast Club. I mean, just having that on your resume alone, that's going to get you work.
But it doesn't, not necessarily though. That's not really how it plays out in the industry in the real world. Like you would think you do this thing and oftentimes we see that people are in this great hit in the 80s or 90s and then they never work again. That's why I was so surprised to say they've all been steadily working, some on bigger projects than others. But it's all been,
we're talking about the Brat Pack here. It's not just somebody from Howard the Duck or, it's the Brat Pack. They were sort of the highest echelon from the 80s, I think, outside of the Spielberg camp, probably.
Yeah, but like Allie, I wasn't expecting to still be working. I haven't seen her do anything. Molly seemed like she had like a resurrection, but then if you look at her work, she's been working the whole time. They're not working on big things. None of them are necessarily on.
Molly Ringwald did. She got a huge role on Riverdale, which was a massive show filmed up here in BC. That's a pretty big deal. But and that is based like. Obviously, her talent. She's very, very talented. I don't want to discredit any of her talent. But Riverdale having Molly Ringwald, a big part of that is like, we have Molly Ringwald from the 80s. Remember her, right?
Marketing tool.
That's a big proponent of her casting on a show like Riverdale, right?
Yeah.
She even got cast in that. What's the movie where they make fun of all the John Hughes movie? Not Another Teen Movie. Did you ever see that?
Oh, yeah.
Early
I've
2000s.
never actually seen it. Yeah.
Dude, Brandon, I think you'd love it. It's actually hilarious, and the references are great. I'm not another.
Jay,
add it to the list.
Not Another Teen Movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those. I can't think of the Halloween ones.
Parody.
Yeah. But this
movie,
one is really funny. I guess maybe because I get all the reference material they're making fun of,
Yeah, agree.
From She's All That to obviously the Breakfast Club and more. But I mean, Brandon, you'll really like it for the Breakfast Club stuff alone. They recreate the library and Paul Gleason comes and redoes his part and everything. It's pretty awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
And anyway, Molly Ringwald's in that. But again, it's sort of like they're cashing in on the fact that it's Molly Ringwald.
Well, that's for sure. That's exactly what that casting is.
Well, but again, that's why I'm saying I was surprised.
And by the way, she's not in the Breakfast Club scene. They recreate that with the current high school, but Molly Ringwald shows up in the film somewhere else.
But that is why I'm saying that I was surprised to see that all of them have been working until recently, because in a lot of cases, to Jay's point, like people will from these popular movies from back then will be used more as tropes and marketing tools versus like actually being good working actors. And all of them have not necessarily all on big names, but I was just surprised to see that they've all consistently worked over the years, which, I mean, I hadn't necessarily noticed them working, but, I'd rather be an actor who is steadily working than being on a couple of big things, to be honest with you. Like that's a way better career and way more fun.
Well, not to mention like over the past couple of years, the Breakfast Club actors have been doing the convention circuit.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
there's been
Yeah.
a couple Breakfast Club reunions over the years, and
Mhm.
I'm sure they rake in a lot of dough at those shows, especially if all of them are there, and you can take
Mhm.
your VHS copy like I did and go meet Anthony Michael Hall and
Cute.
get him to sign your VHS copy of Breakfast Club.
Yeah. I mean, what a
Um,
joy. That's like our friend Phil Morris. He does conventions all the time because of the stuff
yeah,
that he's
past and
done. And
future
it's like,
guest.
yes, that's right. He's actually coming on my show tomorrow. I get to see
Oh,
him.
that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, here's some Bender casting that was going on. John Cusack was actually cast as Bender.
Yeah.
Didn't
I've heard that.
actually shoot any days, but was replaced by Judd Nelson right before shooting. Um,
That one I could see. I could see
Yeah.
he can go
Same.
dark, but I feel like Judd Nelson is the guy who was meant for it.
I
Agree.
John Cusack is a wonderful actor. I think he's a bit maybe too boyish or
Yeah.
cute to like be the dark Bender that Judd Nelson, and it's hard to
He has a
compare.
lighter
I think
energy.
they were picturing the guy in the coat, and in the other movie he had the coat, and they sort of
Yeah.
looked the same.
Yeah, same
I
thing.
agree.
Yeah.
And listen,
Yeah.
he's a great actor. He would have done a great job, but I agree with you. There is a more boyish energy, but in those moments, Judd absolutely looks like a boy. He looks like a child in those vulnerable moments,
Well,
in those
Judd
parts for
Nelson
sure.
is very pretty. He has a
Yeah.
very pretty face, and that
Yes.
hair. Oh my
But
God, that
but it's
swooping
not
hair
about
with the
being
little
pretty.
gray.
Yeah, it is. It was about like, I do love that streak of gray. I noticed that too. But it was, he did get softer. He looked more boyish. But the point is that when you're looking at an actor, and yes, some people are very good at shifting their energy and like embodying different types of energy, but Judd in general, he does better at having that darker energy than I think John does. John
Yeah,
inherently
it's in the
has a
eyes.
lighter energy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, the other thing is Emilio Estevez was actually originally cast as John Bender, but then John
I heard
Hughes
that
could
too.
not find an actor to play Andrew and
Mm.
shifted him over, thus making and he didn't want to make him a football player. He didn't
Yeah, I
want
love that.
there was too many, it's too cliche even in
Mhm.
1985 to have your jock be a football player. So he makes Andrew a state champion wrestler.
Yeah, which I
Um,
love that, and I love the moments of them making fun of him with the tights. I thought that
yes.
really added
And
something too.
Even Brian gets in a little
Yes,
zing
yeah,
at
I love
yeah,
that.
playing along there. Um,
Mhm.
one of the most famous bits of casting in The Breakfast Club is an actor who shot for 1 day on the film and was let go. Do you do you know
Oh,
about this? Have you heard?
he was
Don't
main cast?
remember.
He played Carl the janitor, but it was Rick Moranis was the original
Oh, I
casting
did hear
choice.
that. I did hear
What?
that. Yes,
So Rick
yes.
Moranis was cast as Carl the janitor, and
Too
Rick
famous
Moranis
for it.
wanted to play it with a very over the top
Yeah,
sketch SCTV Russian
yep.
accent. And they saw the dailies, and even at that, John Hughes was not a fan of it, but he was such a fan of Rick Moranis himself that he was like, I guess this is what Rick wants to do. But it was department heads in Universal that were like, what the hell is this? This is not good. And they essentially fired Rick Moranis after 1 day of
W
shooting and
Was
brought
it
Brandon,
in.
do you know what's
before
funny about that is that the exact same story is why Rick Moranis had the
Uh-huh.
job in Ghostbusters, because
Uh-huh.
it was written for John Candy, but he
Yep.
wanted to do it with some crazy accent, and they were
I think a
like,
German accent or something.
yeah, and they were
sometimes
just
that
like,
ain't
John,
it,
you're not
y'all.
get it, you don't get it. We're playing it straight, you don't
Yeah.
get it,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
That's
they gave him Rick
exactly what I was gonna
Moranis.
say, Jay. Yes.
What a
So yeah,
weird little twist.
yeah.
So, was this
Cool.
before or after Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? I think it was probably before, actually.
Before. Yeah.
Okay,
Honey, I Shrunk
yeah.
the Kids is 1999, I
Oh my
believe.
god, really?
No, 89
No,
maybe.
it was
Oh,
80.
89. Sorry. That's what I meant.
Okay. Yeah, I was
89,
like,
not
"There's no
89 or
way."
90. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
okay.
Not
Because I was
99.
gonna say he would have been too big for that role because sometimes when you put a big person in a supporting role, it just kind of steals things in a way that's not cohesive to the
Yeah.
story or doesn't support the film. But
Well,
if it was before that,
I mean, it just did Ghostbusters the year before. That was a bit part, but it sure was big. It was the biggest, thing
but
in the
sometimes it
freaking
makes it,
world.
right? Like for his role in Ghostbusters, perfect.
Yeah.
It landed. It was so good. It added to
who
the
brought
overall.
Oh,
Oh.
Dana, it's you. I thought it
Yeah.
was a drugstore.
But I think for a film like this, to have a big person, which again, that was not the case because this timing wise, it happened many years later. But to the point of it would have taken away from a film like this. In Ghostbusters, it added. In this, it would have taken
Yeah.
away. Just as I
To
think
have
it's
a character like that in
decision.
this would have absolutely
Oh,
been a
I know.
mistake.
It would have
the
taken me
rest
right
of this
at-
Or a big
tonally
actor.
is so different.
Yeah.
Also,
Big,
I wanted to compliment
broad
you guys
character.
kept talking about the scene with Bender and Paul Gleason.
Yes.
The one that really got me was the follow-up to that after
Yeah.
he had eviscerated Bender. When Paul Gleason and Carl are in, and they're having a couple beers, and they're having the conversation, and
Yeah.
Carl, intentionally or unintentionally, does the exact same thing to Paul Gleason.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I don't know what it was about that scene, but to me, maybe because I'm older now, I'm not relating to the kids, I'm relating to the adults.
Yeah.
I thought that was very, very powerful, and it was a nice payoff. And then, it's fairly towards the end of the movie, but also Paul Gleason is even a little bit different after that when he comes back into the room. He's still
Yeah.
an asshole, but there's a little bit of arc to his character too that I noticed that I didn't notice previously.
Yeah.
One of the notes
Sorry.
I wrote, I'm just looking at my notes because I think I took notes on that too. Could you describe the ruckus, sir? Just a fun noise.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Line.
And that's when Molly
Fun line.
Ringwald comes to Bender's defense, and that's a nice
Yes.
moment too.
Well, and
Yeah, that whole moment I think was really good because it was like we get to see the kids banding together,
Yeah.
even to protect this guy who's supposed to be like an asshole or whatever. But I agree. Also, what is up with them drinking alcohol while they're supposed to be watching these kids? Like
It's
80s,
Saturday.
right? It's
Yeah, it's
Saturday
Saturday.
in the 80s. Saturday in the
I was
80s.
impressed it was only beer. It must have been from the janitor because I'm sure he had
Yeah.
Vernon had
My
a bottle
other
in his
drug
desk.
note
I'm
was
sure.
like, how is he not smelling the weed, man?
I know.
But
Like the
movie
amount of weed that Andrew would have had to smoke to
In the
fill
glass?
up that glass room so
So
that we can
funny.
see it. That's an insane
More
amount
than
of
a
weed.
joint, my dude.
It would smell so bad. Even just like the one joint that that Claire and Bender and Brian are sharing, like you would still walk into that library and smell that. But yeah, how does he not smell the weed?
Yeah. And I really, now that we're kind of on that those moments of connection and conversation, another fantastic scene. Everywhere we go in that scene, and which is a long scene because there's a lot of arcs in that scene, and we go in a lot of places in that scene. Wow, the vulnerability, the truth in that, the walls are down. Like obviously they're smoking a joint, so it makes it a little bit easier. That was another really great scene and great moment, and the way that Allie's character pushes Molly's character into it, like there's so much, it's the 80s and they're in high school. There's so much attention on virginity and especially Claire and Claire's sexuality. That again, that just kind of falls into the pressure that her and as a character and as like this popular girl falls into, and what everybody in the school wants to know, right? Everyone in the school wants to know what the popular girl is doing, because whatever she's doing gives you permission and also allows you to call her a slut or whatever. Like it is incredibly complicated, but the way that she pressed her, and you see this girl on girl, like psychological violence, which is what it is so accurate for high school dynamics and these things, and specifically around sexuality and girls' sexuality and how they attack each other. Very interesting.
Yeah, I
very
absolutely
interesting moments in
love.
that.
I love Allison being the little weirdo and like overcompensating, all of the sexual acts that she's partaken in, and all of the messiness of her therapist and all that kind of stuff. And then at the very end of it to be like, I was lying. None of that was true. Yeah.
And I absolutely knew people like that. 100% I did. Whether it was that quick of a cycle of like, no, I was lying, or it was just, people
Yeah.
saying things to say things. It's very real for kids growing up. I don't know how it is now because there's social media. And so I think that adds such a different layer of,
Yeah. Could you imagine the
oh
Breakfast Club
boy.
today? Like
Oh,
taking away all their phones, they'd be
yeah.
online.
Yeah.
That whole section. So
Mhm.
after they've sort of, they've blazed and they've what have they done? They haven't they haven't
I didn't
danced
talk
yet.
about this yet either, by the way.
Oh, cute.
Oh, yes.
Hi, yellow
That
car.
is in Des
Germer
Moines.
High
What is
School.
it? Des Plaines. Des Plaines, Chicago is where I mean, we didn't even talk about this, but famously, John Hughes shoots all of his movies in Chicago. He sort of pulled away from Hollywood and created his own little industry in Chicago. So,
Mhm.
even the movies that he's just writing, like Home Alone, they're all shot in Chicago. But yeah, so what Jay was just showing is Yellow Car outside of the Des Plaines former high school, now a police station,
It
which
is
is
now the Chicago Division of the Illinois State Police.
Wow.
and that is the front
That is a
entrance of
government building.
the Shermer High School,
Yep.
which was a real high school that had shut down in 1981. So it was just an empty, abandoned school. They
Did they
filmed
use the interiors there?
all of the interiors are shot inside the
Wow.
school.
Yeah, I mean, what a
That
Also,
great
was one of my
deal.
questions.
the same interiors used in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's
Oh,
the same school.
yeah, it's
Now
Now
around
the
the
outside is different. The staircase is different in that one. It's not the same. Stallone, do you have a kiss for your daddy? That whole scene,
yeah, that's a different
right?
school.
That's a
Yes,
different
that
school.
exterior.
Okay,
Yes,
gotcha,
just the
gotcha.
interiors of Ferris Bueller were shot in this school.
No kidding. Very
Um,
cool.
the library set that we see in the Breakfast Club is essentially a recreation of the actual library that existed in the Des Plaines High School, but much bigger, and they built it inside the gymnasium of that
Gymnasium.
school.
Oh, okay. Because I was
So
gonna ask if they were at a studio, but no.
yeah, no, it's
It's a
it's a
huge
I
gymnasium.
didn't think
set.
they would be.
It's the
Huge
exact
set.
same thing that they did for Home Alone. They rebuilt the interior of the Home Alone house in a high school gym in Chicago.
Yeah, well, they
Um,
often do that. I don't think people realize that. Oftentimes, they will find a location. Maybe they shoot one or two things there. Oftentimes, the exterior is different from the interior. That's very
yeah,
common practice. But I think something that people may not realize is that they're also recreating sets to shoot on sound stages or warehouses or wherever of rooms and spaces that actually exist, not necessarily famous ones. They do that obviously for famous ones, but just like regular sets and regular homes and regular spaces,
yeah.
because we just need it to be different for filming purposes.
Well, they will go as far as they will pick a house, and that'll be their exterior. And then
Mhm.
if they really want to recreate the inside, they will go as far as measuring the
Mhm.
inside of their house that they're shooting the exteriors on,
Yep.
recreating that on a sound stage, and then merging the two. Your actor, for example, the Marty McFly house. Marty comes down the street, walks up the driveway, sees the car and the tow truck, and then goes in the house. It cuts, and now we're at a set recreated based off the actual interior of that
Love that.
house.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
has to match. I
and
mean,
part of
the
that is
entire interior doesn't have to match, but at least the
no,
windows, the doors, like,
exactly.
yeah,
It
yeah.
has to it has to line up.
And
Because
Now,
our brain will
architecturally, it
do the
needs to
work.
match too. Yeah.
yes,
Right.
Mhm.
exactly. And they'll do that so that they can control lighting. They can
Yeah.
not have a ceiling to push
I was
their
gonna say
lighting
we take
through,
ceilings out, we remove
remove
walls.
walls to get the
Yeah,
camera through, right?
ventilation.
Everything to facilitate because,
Yeah.
a
And also,
regular
it's expensive. It's expensive to buy someone out of their home for X
yeah.
amount of time.
Girk
Yeah.
2 or Arielle, Girk 2, 5G Club or whatever his
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Uh-huh.
I worked with him for years and years, but his house was chosen because of its style and everything to be, was it Colin Hanks' house in the TV show
Or
they used to do? Life After Us? This Is Us?
Oh,
Life.
yeah.
oh,
This
yeah.
No, I
Do you
think
know
it
what
was
I'm saying? Life in
Life
Pieces.
After.
Life in Pieces.
Life in
It was
Pieces,
on the
Life
yeah,
same
in
time
that's
as
right,
that.
yeah.
Pieces. Yeah.
And so the house
Mhm.
with the yellow door, it's a very famous mid-century house.
Cute.
They chose his house because they liked it for the exterior, and then the production designer came inside and they looked at everything and he measured everything and he understood. And he goes, "Oh, okay, this was the design. This was the design." And then they recreated all those features in the movie, in the TV show set house where they shot
On
the
a
show.
soundstage.
And
Yeah.
I love that.
exactly.
Yeah,
Even
that's crazy.
Cheers. I mean, way back in the day, Cheers.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't shoot that in Boston, just the exteriors.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and part of shooting Breakfast Club in this school is they set up their production offices in the other classrooms.
Yeah.
So Dee Dee
Genius.
Allen was the editor of the Breakfast Club, and because John Hughes was such a fan of ad-libbing and improv and allowing his actors to just go and see what happens, he would shoot thousands of feet of film. He would just let the camera run out. And
Wow.
so having their editor Dee Dee Allen have her set up in the school, she was just like putting scenes together as they were shooting, and then she would come to John and be like, "We actually need this shot. We need to get coverage here because this scene we need to get a reaction from that person." And they would get all that, and they would be working and editing along the 34 days of shooting they did.
That's how we
There's
did
a
it on
missing-
Muppets Mayhem with your buddy Adam Goldberg.
But there's a missing segment there to the production back in the old days with film, which would have been the processing of the actual film, which they couldn't have done at the school, the milk bath
No.
and all that crazy stuff. So they must
No,
have
they
sent
would-
it out, then sent
could
it
have been-
back,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they're okay. I gotcha.
Yeah. No,
Still just
In
having
my
your
mind,
editor
it's
on
not-
site.
these days it's digital. They'll take a hard drive from the set to the editor's
Yeah.
room.
Literally,
and
yes.
Start downloading it.
Yeah, they'll have
Right.
an editing
Mhm.
trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that sort of allowed, because the thing is, like, the film is actually quite experimental in the sense that it is a talking heads teen picture.
Mhm.
Because up until this point, the teen movie was your Animal Houses, was your Porky's, was your
Boom, boom,
Or
boom,
you're at
boom,
the beach,
boom.
beach bang bingo, one
Yes.
of those things. Yeah.
gratuitous nudity, right? It's like sex. And this movie they're talking about sex, but they're not like, in fact, actually, one of the things I learned, I actually didn't know this, is up until they were shooting, there was a whole storyline of, during the weekend Saturday detention, the girls volleyball team was having a practice in a gym at the school, and at one point the coach, the girls volleyball coach, was going to be in the change room, and they were gonna find like a peephole, and they were gonna peep on the
Oh,
volleyball coach, and it was going to be the gratuitous nudity that these teen movies have. And it was actually Ali Sheedy and Molly Ringwald who said, "Why? What
What does it do for us?
What does this
Yeah.
do?"
Also,
And
that's going to
that's-
cost you a lot of money. So, from a
Yeah.
production perspective, that's a lot of money to spend on nothing.
Yeah. And so all that was completely cut from the movie. It made John Hughes realize, like, there is no point to it.
Yeah.
And all of that was discovered through the 3 weeks of rehearsal they got before actually
Wow, what a
shooting
privilege.
anything. So
Yeah, but for this type of thing with all that
You have
dialogue,
to.
you
have
it. And
to.
the blocking of that huge set,
Yes.
like, you need it.
It's a play. It is
Yeah,
a play.
it's
It has to
100%
be
a
shot
play.
like a play. I mean, when you're
Yeah.
in one location for the entire time, and it is so incredibly
the same
performance heavy.
wardrobe, the same
Yeah,
day,
it's the same wardrobe,
essentially
same set.
real time.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have anything else to rely on. We had very little music in that. We had very little action.
True.
We had no stunts or anything like that, really. There were so few things that they could rely
Well,
on.
Bender did forget his pencil. That's a
Sure.
pretty big stunt.
Yes, huge. But, in
And
general,
then, he broke the window. That was a whole
Yeah, huge stunt.
huge.
Actually,
Other than
Emilio
those-
Estevez, you could say he did stunts because he was doing gymnastics and he was running around
That's
getting
true.
very physical.
He was
That's
and,
okay.
and
well,
Bender actually climbed the
Hey,
staircase too.
And they dance on that railing. That's pretty
that
dangerous.
dance, they have 2 dance breaks. Yep. First we had the
True.
Emilio dance break, and then we had
Yeah.
everybody dancing, which was such a delightful moment as well, seeing that joy and that release. And it made me think of I lead a workshop called Coven of Harlots, and we do like a lot of really deep work and discussion and talking about things. And like, it's kind of similar to sitting around in a circle talking about really deep, vulnerable stuff. And then at the end, we dance it out. And I was watching this and I was like, they are doing exactly what you need to do. Yeah, you need to close that stress cycle with vocals, with movement, with like actually getting it out of your body. So watching it again with that perspective, I was like, oh, these kids know what's up, because listen, our bodies know what's up.
There's something so special to me about everything they've gone through, the dynamics with Bender and Brian and Andrew. And then there's the iconic shot where they're dancing together. They're all three of them are so close together, and it's like, did that just happen? Did they have a little conversation like, hey, let's do this, like something we don't see in the movie? And you don't think about it too much because it's just, you're just watching them dancing, but it is funny to think about, like, they're in perfect sync and they're all on the right time. They're all doing their arms the same way.
It looks like a Robert Palmer video.
Exactly. Like, there was choreography, and did they come up with their own choreography as like a fun little thought experiment?
Yeah.
Right?
Probably.
All right, everybody dance on the rail, probably. The biggest thing I was left wondering was, who the hell is going to clean up this library? Because they really trashed the place.
Trashed it.
Oh, yeah.
It starts with ripping pages out of books,
yeah.
but then they got a fire. He fell through the ceiling. They broke the glass.
Yes. There's ham on the statue.
Knocking the meat off of the counters on his way out to the the detention room.
Yeah.
Poor Carl. Those shitheads.
Poor Carl, right.
Poor Carl. It's just him.
But they broke the glass of the foreign language lab, and
yeah.
They never showed how bad the carnage was upstairs where he fell through the ceiling.
No, we didn't get to see that. Back to the go ahead, Arielle.
No, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, back to the rehearsal. The other interesting thing that John Hughes did is he actually brought all the drafts of the script that he had written, and he let the actors go through them all and sort of pick and choose some of their favorite moments from the different drafts, things that maybe have affected them, or they felt really compelled. And he took all the notes of all the things that they liked, and then he went away and he compiled it into a new version of the movie. And from what I understand, that's more or less the version of the movie we see.
Wow.
Is again, back to the collaboration, like we were talking at the beginning. He was very, very open to the opinion of a 16-year-old Molly Ringwald and a 16-year-old Anthony Michael Hall, which for an adult in his position, that's quite astounding.
It is, but if we don't believe these kids and their situations, this movie doesn't work.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, so if they, if there's a certain scene that they related to and they felt that they could, give their most to, that makes sense that would be the one in there, because you need to believe. That's the one thing that's all hinges on, is believing that these kids are all
and
in their situations.
I really do believe all of these performances, right?
Yeah. And the thing that I was going to add also is that, again, this kind of comes back to the director sharing their vision and trusting the people that they hired. At a certain point, the actor now knows who they are more than the director knows. The director has the vision, and they are creating the environment, and they are like, okay, this is where I think it's going to go and whatever. Because especially as an intimacy coordinator, I'll be working with actors who are like, I just don't, my character wouldn't do that.
You hear that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so it is really important that a director can give the trust. And I love that he gave all of the different versions to them, because that allows them to really get into the director's head. The most powerful thing that I can ever do, regardless of if I'm producing, ADing, intimacy coordinating, is to really get into the head of the director that I'm working with. I need to understand what your vision is, what your desire is, what this world is that you're creating. I need to understand it so deeply, so that I can help navigate those things. And when you allow your cast to do that, when you allow them into all of the versions of what you've been working on, that is such a powerful thing, because then they can really see how you've developed this character, which allows them to go even deeper with their own process and have really solid foundational opinions. And that is what creates such a strong performance, is when you really know who you are as an actor and as a performer.
On the commentary, which was recorded in 2008, the commentary is Judd Nelson and Anthony Michael Hall. One of the things that Judd Nelson talks about is this is relatively early in his career. And after making The Breakfast Club, he was under the impression that all movies were made like this. All movies were collaborative. All movies had rehearsals, right? And it was such a harsh reality, reality check to realize, like, oh, we had it so good on that movie.
It's hard when that happens so young, babe.
And I think go ahead, Jay.
No, my thing is separate. Surfer Girl here says she would have liked to have seen Charlie Sheen in the Bender role. That is somebody I could definitely see doing it.
Well, he essentially gets Benderized in Ferris Bueller, because Charlie Sheen is
exactly.
I think looks wise, back to what we were talking about with John Cusack, I think looks wise, Charlie Sheen looks the part. But I don't know if Charlie Sheen has the chops.
The edge?
The edge.
Yeah, I get that.
There is just something special about Judd Nelson. Now, at that time,
you're right. I know what you mean. There's a weird authenticity to him that I can't really put my finger on.
Judd Nelson, at that time, I don't know if this is still his process, he was very method, to the point where he actually was antagonizing Molly Ringwald, not Claire, and almost got fired from the movie because he was treating her so poorly. Now, for context, he was 25 years old when he shot The Breakfast Club. Molly Ringwald was 16 years old. So he got a talking to. He essentially was like, you need to stop doing that. They're going to fire you. And he changed his tune.
Good for him.
He was very much Judd Nelson came from like the Stella Adler acting conservatory. He is a actor through and through. He came into his audition dressed as John Bender. In fact, the boots that he wears in this movie are his own boots that he wore to the audition. He, in the waiting room of his audition, was John Bender, being antagonistic to other people in the room.
Method through and through.
Yes, to the point where security was called on him right before he got called into the audition room. Went in, played John Bender from this, he was John Bender when he walked into that room, did his whole audition as John Bender, left the room as John Bender, got the role. Now,
does that explain the other situation? Oh, he was just being method and didn't realize he was going too far with it, and they told him to reel it in. Did he show up on set with Molly Ringwald acting that? Does one thing explain the other or not?
Yes. Oh, he showed up method as John Bender and was terrorizing a 16-year-old girl
actress
as the character of John Bender in between takes.
Yeah, you can't do that, and especially not with any sort of warning. Like, you can't do that in general, but also if that is something that you want to be doing and that's going to help your process, you got to have conversations, my dude. Like, people need to be aware of, on board with all of those things. You can't just,
and the fact that like he is a 25-year-old man
exactly
working with a 16-year-old young girl. Yes, that there is. So, he did.
I didn't realize she was 16 in this. I did not realize she was that.
Yes.
I knew she was 16. I didn't know how old he was, but that would also help explain the neck versus a different body part.
Yeah, I did write them all down. So Emilio Estevez was 22. Anthony Michael Hall was 16. Judd Nelson was 25. Molly Ringwald was 16. And Ali Sheedy was 22.
Wow. Okay.
Didn't she kiss him on the lips at the end, though? They go full mouth, don't they?
They do.
They
That
do.
would not happen today. You cannot do that. Nope,
And
not
and
unless. Well, actually, no. Let me actually say this. It depends on the age of it depends on the age of consent in the
the
state that
particular
you're
state.
in.
Yeah.
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 But in today, we would not do that today. Like if I was
Yes.
intimacy coordinating something, I'd be like a 16-year-old is absolutely, we don't even have really 16-year-olds kiss other 16-year-olds. It's not a thing. Even if the state would allow for something like that, we still don't do it. So
Yeah.
there's really not a world where something like that would happen
Yeah.
again. And that's
And
fucking
just
disgusting.
what we're
What about
talking
like
about.
My Girl when they're both kids?
We really wouldn't do that today either.
You wouldn't do that today. Okay.
You would face
Sometimes
you
I'm
would,
more out of touch than I think I am. I don't even know.
you would have you could mask it, so you wouldn't have them actually kissing if it's actually required.
Oh
like,
yeah,
nothing
you'd
is
frame
required,
the
right?
shot.
Like
Frame
Frame
it
the
you don't
shot
see
so
it.
it's kind of behind their head so you don't see it.
you would mask it. You would not have children.
Oh, that actually makes
doing
sense.
that.
Yeah, and that's maybe even what they did back then. They insinuate it, imply
Yeah.
it.
And-
Okay. But
and
not
while
actually
we're
do
talking
That
about
makes
it,
sense.
the shot that is up Molly Ringwald's dress that is not Molly Ringwald. That was
It couldn't be based on
that
what
was
you
a
just
double.
told me.
Yes,
Yeah.
That would
exactly.
be
Yeah,
child pornography.
just while we're
and let me
talking
tell
about it,
you,
exactly.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
laws are incredibly strict on that. You can't even perform, like you can't even have an intimacy scene happening while there is a minor on anywhere at the location. That is how tight it is. So we are thankfully now at a place where we are incredibly thoughtful with how minors are operating in a working environment. We still have a lot more work to do. There are still absolutely situations where you should have an intimacy coordinator for like a bath scene, familial intimacy, when like an adult is hugging and kissing and snuggling a child who's supposed to be their child. Like it's a lot, right?
There is a psychological aspect to child actors,
100%.
and you're in a way you're treating them like adults,
Yes,
because they're working, right?
yes,
But they
Correct.
still are children, and that is why a lot of the child actors, they maybe don't fully develop. You know, they say a lot of child actors mentally stay the same age from when they got famous,
yeah,
right? Just because they're thrust into an environment where they're a professional working person, and they're not, especially in the 80s and 70s, you
Yeah.
know, they're not thought of as like, this is a child. We can't be doing this stuff to
Yeah.
this child or around this child or having this child experience these things because their brain is still developing.
Yeah. I
right?
mean, if you think about how many kids had their first kiss on screen on set with 40 other grown men who were
Yeah.
mostly over the age of 30 and 40 and sometimes even over the age of 50 and 60 in the room with them, like
Yeah.
really, really unhealthy and problematic experiences for sure.
Yeah.
So thankfully we do things differently, but we still
Yeah.
have a lot
Thankfully,
to do.
things have
We
changed.
have a lot more work to do for sure.
I wanted to. There's a moment that I really, really like early on in the film. It's right after Bender takes the screw out of the door, and then Vernon comes in. I think it's a really big moment because nobody rats on Bender.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
It is what I would consider the very first bonding moment of the film. And
I totally agree.
they get into arguments and disagreements after the fact. You know, Andy and Bender, they have their fight later, but there is something really special about nobody likes Bender. He's been nothing but a jerk since the second he walked in, but
he's still one of
all
them.
are silent.
He's still
they're
one
I
of
feel
them.
it more. I feel it most when Molly Ringwald's like, "Why would anyone steal a screw?" And that's when he leaves, and like that's the deciding factor that gets them away with it.
God,
The fact that it was her.
Power.
The fact that it was her. She's
Yeah.
treating her like
Yeah.
shit, and here she does this nice thing. Yes.
Power
the world's an
dynamic.
imperfect place, sir. It's such a great line.
But it is, you know, if she didn't sign off on that, and if she didn't do that, the rest of the kids wouldn't either, because outside of their fear of him, which maybe Andy doesn't have that fear, but still, again, we were talking about power dynamics. Judd holds the power, or Bender holds the power, and outside of him or next to him sits Claire. She's kind of the next person who holds the most power in the room, and then it's Andy, and then it's, you know, the other two, or who knows what that is. But I think if she did not sign off in that moment, everything would have been different.
Yeah, for sure.
Because even if Andy signed off on it, but she didn't, I think the group would have followed her because she's the pretty girl. She's the pretty, rich, popular girl. It's different than the wrestler who
well,
they made fun of.
and the second, if somebody were to cave, you know that instantly Brian is caving.
Oh, yeah.
Brian is only strong because the group is strong. But the second, somebody else caves, Brian's right there. He doesn't want to get in any more trouble than he
100%.
has to be.
He's trouble averse.
He had Anthony Michael Hall has some really funny, great little bits, like when he's playing with the pen in his mouth and he's like, who am I? Who am I? Another line that I absolutely love is when after they go to the locker and Bender gets his weed. And I just love that he asks everybody, are you okay with this? Are you okay? And then the very last one, do you approve of this? I just think it's his line reading is unbelievable for a 16-year-old.
He was
so good.
Fantastic. He was so good at playing the nerd too. Truly fantastic. And that reminds me of the moment where, and I wrote this down too, the moment where they're running around the halls and they get to the gate and Bender is just like, you guys go back. I got this and that is what ultimately leads to him getting locked in that room.
Yes.
And the thing that stood out for me is that this is a kid. It's not that he's doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He already feels like he's a lost cause.
He's already got nothing to lose. Absolutely.
Nobody cares about him. He's got nothing to lose. Yep. He's like, who fucking cares? Nobody cares about me.
What am I going to get? Another detention? I'm already at 8.
Matter. I'm fucked.
It's going to affect all of you. It's going to affect me the least.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
They already expect me to be a fuck up. So let me just do it. And that it wasn't a selfless moment, but it was still a selfless move. And again, I just feel like I saw the child in him in that and the pain in that moment, which it's not a moment to see and witness somebody's pain, but him making that move for me, watching that, knowing what I know, especially as an adult and with a different perspective on things, it was a painful thing to watch because here we're just looking at this child that's he's 16, 17 years old and he has no hope for himself.
Yeah.
Now that I know he's 25, I've got.
Well,
Hey, and who knows? Maybe Bender's failed a few times. Maybe Bender actually is 25.
Well, that's why I think 17, right?
6 years.
He does seem older. Obviously, Judd Nelson is older, but there is something to maybe he has been held back or failed.
Probably.
Yeah,
at least one.
And he may be a year or two older than the other kids.
He's 18 or 19 already. Yeah.
I love that moment. Where he does say you guys go, I'll go, and then he sings through the hallways and then he cuts to him in the gym and he's got one running shoe on. He found a shoe in the gym and he's got one random white shoe on. It's so great.
Yeah, and it is, I think as a young audience member watching that, and probably most audience members, you're like, wow, he's a nice guy. He's so sweet. But watching that last night again, it was just like, oh, this poor baby.
Yeah, you were seeing the sadness.
Yeah. And then it led to that moment of such vulnerability. The two of them back to back was really beautiful. And then go ahead.
I was just going to say, before we get past that moment, one of my favorite shots in the movie is that tracking shot of all of their shoes right before that moment. It's just the camera's just down on the ground and all of them are walking into the frame. One of the things I love about the Breakfast Club is all the differentiation between all of the kids. We talked about the parents, their drop-offs, their different cars, those dynamics, but just all of the costuming choices of all the kids are great. And I love all of their individual shoes.
The lunches.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the lunches is a good
scene. I made a note about the lunches too.
Captain Crunch and Sugar on White. Are you kidding
Pixie
me?
Sticks.
Yes.
The lunch scene, them unpacking lunch is one of the funniest because we got Claire eating sushi, which if you think about She's
Gross,
been there
by the
since
way.
Packed
she's been there
and
since
brought
what,
with all of
8
the
o'clock?
accoutrement.
Yeah.
Yes. She's been there
Yep.
since 8 o'clock. Where has that sushi been
Disgusting.
sitting? It's room temperature sushi.
And who made it in
Um,
the morning? It's probably
yeah,
from the night
exactly.
before. Everything about that is gross.
Andrew's
You're right,
lunch.
because they arrive at 7. They're there before 7.
7
Yes.
a.m.
Right, so that
7
is
a.m.
that is
7
last
to
night's
11
sushi at the best.
11:30 is when they eat lunch.
Yeah.
Right,
Then we have
but
the
they've been there since
sandwiches.
7, so they didn't go buy sushi this morning.
No.
No.
And those parents are absolutely not making her sushi.
No.
Then there's Andrew, and he's got like 4 sandwiches.
He's got a
Growing
full bag
boy,
of
and-
chips,
Oh,
3
yeah.
sandwiches, a
Mhm.
carton of milk, an entire bag of chocolate chip cookies, a banana, and an apple.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
And then he goes, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we see Allison's lunch, which is
Mhm.
some sort of like corned beef ham slice
Olive
with
loaf.
olives.
I think that was
Yeah,
olive loaf.
olive
Yeah.
loaf. Yes. She gets rid of that, throws it up on the
Gross.
statue, and then
Yep.
dumps Pixie Sticks and Captain
Multiple
Crunch.
pixie sticks
Yeah.
with her Coke, by the way. Also,
Yep.
it's just all sugar.
Crunches into that, and then Brian has soup, juice box, and a PB&J, and Bender has cigarettes.
Nothing. Yep.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yep.
That to
Yeah,
me is the scene that gets me about him. It's like, oh wow, like everything he was saying is not only true, but it's probably worse than he's letting on.
100%. Yes. Until the moment where he's doing his role play and he talks about the cigarette burn.
Yeah.
That I think is when everything got really real for all of the kids. And
when he goes, "Did that really happen?" And he just looks at him.
Yeah. That was the first time that the kids were like, "Oh, that's real."
Yeah.
Like, you don't make that up. That's not a scene. Yeah.
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 And right around that time, we get Ali Sheedy's first line of dialogue. She doesn't speak for 25 minutes.
Love that.
She has an early ha.
Which
But
everyone turns around and looks at her, right?
Yeah.
For the ha. Yep.
Yep.
But her first line of dialogue is when Allison and Andrew are sent to go get Cokes, and she talks about how much she loves vodka, right? She loves drinking vodka, which at that time she does not admit to lying, but based on how she talks about sex later in the film, we know that this is just her trying to
Get attention.
Andrew, get attention.
I don't know how early I first saw this movie, but even as like a teenage girl watching that, I knew exactly who she was because again, I knew girls like that and maybe some boys too, but like I knew watching that she was full of shit. Because I also knew people who were really actually alcoholics in high school, which was really sad. But like, I think some of us watching that even as children, and I was exposed to a lot of stuff as a kid. Not again, maybe that's the first time you heard that, but you kind of know the difference between a kid that is just saying these things and a kid that's actually doing these things. So I know for me, when I was like, I always knew exactly who she was. So it was never a surprise for me. I mean, maybe when I was younger, who knows? I don't remember the early days, but as a teenager, for me, the reveal about her was like, oh yeah, obviously you're lying.
Yeah.
I believed it. I didn't see this so many times when I was young, so I believed it. I think I probably fell for it the first time and this time. And then when she goes, nah, I'm a pathological liar or whatever she says, I was like, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But I think,
then I put the lens on everything you just said, Arielle, about the previous parts, the previous scenes.
Yeah. I think also just my personal experience, because I did, again, know people with mental health challenges. I knew people who were addicts. I had, my best friend was a pathological liar when I was 12 years old. So like I had some fucked up experiences when I was really young. So by the time I was like watching this on repeat, I was like, oh yeah, I know everybody's deal here at an age that I was too young to know.
My one of my favorite Ali Sheedy Allison moments is after Bender pulls the knife, his switchblade, and then he like
when she goes and grabs it and then just takes it.
Bender sticks it in the chair, and then she comes from outside of the frame and grabs it and pulls it in, and we never see the switchblade again.
It's gone.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's
Situation
such a
diffused.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that too. I totally agree with you.
And she herself she's a little bit of a klepto because later she steals Bender's lock off of his locker. After they go to the locker to get the weed, everybody walks away. She grabs Bender's lock and puts it in her purse.
Well, you could tell because look at everything that was in her purse when she dumps it out.
And she took Anthony Michael Hall's wallet too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. She does. She ends up giving it back, but yeah, she does steal his wallet at some point and memorizes all the facts about Brian, Ralph.
Yeah.
Ralph.
And again, it's another one of those moments where the purse moment where they're like going through their wallets and they're talking about all this stuff. And she's just wanting somebody to give a single solitary fuck about her.
And they don't care enough, but she just dumps her purse because she wants so bad for them to care and just to ask her what's in your bag, right?
Yeah.
But so she dumps it all out, and then not only is she like dumping out the contents of her purse, but she's essentially dumping out her personal problems, and her purse is her go bag, right?
Yeah.
She talks about how she has to be able to jet whenever she has to, right? So she's got like I actually don't know what it is. Is it like underwear or something? I couldn't.
I think she has underwear in there. Yeah.
She had everything.
Definitely like tissues.
Everything.
Like she's got a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
I think there's a whole bunch of tampons that come out as well.
Which is very normal, by the way. That's not a go bag. That's just being a person who bleeds.
I think and there's a lot of stuff in her bag, but the implication is that the reason she has all that stuff in her bag is because
she wants to run away.
She wants to run away, or she's feeling like she has to leave, based on her home dynamic. It's either a choice that she's like, I need to leave the situation, or something is happening where for her own safety, she needs to be able to leave. It's not really specified, but nonetheless.
I think it's that she thinks that the only way her parents are going to even notice that she exists is if she disappears.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, okay. I like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I didn't want to get too far from the lunches, but Brian Stidham says, I can remember taking lunch to elementary school back in the 70s, sitting the brown bag on the windowsill in the sun with a ham and cheese mayonnaise sandwich becoming a petri dish.
Yeah.
Oh, gross,
We're talking
Brian.
about sushi. Imagine sushi.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Good
also,
job, Brian. Good call.
I do think it's an interesting point. Is like sushi wasn't as popular in 1985.
They are
right?
showing the yuppie lifestyle that her parents still have,
exactly.
even though they have a kid. Yeah.
It's something that's maybe taken for granted. Now, it's still weird that she has sushi 4 hours into her day, but
very rich person thing, though.
A 16-year-old eating sushi at all is the statement.
Exactly.
Yes. And Jay, you had mentioned she has all the accoutrements. She's got the little bamboo table. She's got the little dish with the soy sauce. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I love her reaction. Like
the whole bit.
It's sushi. Like it's sushi.
Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing with Andy and all his sandwiches going, what?
Right. Yeah.
This is, I mean, it is, and that is what it's like to be a kid. You only kind of know what your parents give you and what your parents teach you and what you're exposed to. I mean, even in one of the first notes that I wrote with the kids being dropped off was like, this is how we see who they became. Like, this is how we know why they are how they are and who they are, because we have this little glimpse into their origin family, which is ultimately, especially as a kid, what makes you who you are. And then, you learn and grow and have experiences and shift out of that, or maybe you become the same people. So
for me, it's, we all in the beginning, when we're doing the lunch thing, you see that they are all still seeing the world through their perspective.
Yes.
And like you just said, like, what, this is how everybody does it. Right. And then somehow by the end, they all see that we're all a little bit of everything.
There's a little bit of everything.
You can't just put us in a box.
Yeah.
And that to me is the beauty of this movie.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
The growth between all of the individuals, realizing that they're all a little bit of the same. They all have a little bit of each other in them, and they all have their own problems.
Yes.
And
Right.
they finally realized that if I'm judging him for that, I'm judging that part of myself. And if I'm judging her for that, then I'm judging
Ooh.
part of myself and that whole
Yeah.
thing. And it seemed
Yeah.
like somehow by the end, they all let each other off the hook.
Well,
And themselves. Yeah.
And themselves, yes.
we've sort of touched on it a little bit already, but all of this leads up, after they've sort of, smoked the weed and kind of come together and bonded over that. They have what I think is like it's the climax of the movie. They're all sitting in the back of the library, and
Like
this
they
is
are
where
right now.
yeah, and
Behind Jay.
Claire does. Oh, is that the scene that they're
She
at right
just
now? You're
did,
right.
yeah, she just
Yes,
did her
the
lipstick thing.
lipstick trick. Yes.
The thing that I was actually going to bring up before you put a bow on that are the two really important, like we already talked about Allison's moment there where she is saying like, oh yeah, I fucked the therapist, the psychotherapist, whatever.
Yeah, she's a
Blah, blah, blah.
nymphomaniac.
Yeah, she presses Claire, which I think is about to happen now. But the two reveals that we have not spoken about, which are really deep and important, is one, Emilio's story or Andy's
Why
story,
he's in detention.
why he's in detention, and how badly he wanted to impress his own father, that
Yes.
he did this horrific thing to another child. And it wasn't until he thought about that kid going home to his father and the humiliation that he caused just to get into the good graces of his own father.
Yes.
That fucked up loop is like, wow.
Yep.
The pain, like I felt so much pain for him.
Yes.
He's like, I did this thing. And instead of, he wasn't even thinking how he physically hurt this child. It all came back to the father-son relationship and how badly
the internal feelings that he hurt, the humiliation.
Yep.
Exactly.
And how badly he was avoiding his own humiliation because his father, he is humiliating him by the way that his father pressures him and speaks to him and everything that he is pressing him for. There is a level of guilt, shame, humiliation, ego, all of those things. And then to do this horrific thing to this child, it was like everything in his face.
Yeah. And this is where Emilio, he shines because it is a very emotional, affecting moment for his character, and not particularly the thing that you would expect to hear or see from a jock, right? The archetype of the jock, for him to be so introspective and realize that what he did affected Larry to a degree, emotionally, not just physically taping his buns together, but emotionally how that affects somebody that is in the what's the word I'm looking for, like the hierarchy of school, someone that's lower than Andrew. The fact that Andrew the jock, our state champion wrestler, is able to get to that emotional level of like, why did I do
empathetic.
This? He's so empathetic, and I think that that's like absolutely wonderful, and that's one of those like great things about the movie, is getting to see our jock character break down that way and feel empathy for a child, a fellow student that he bullied, right?
Watching the reveal, to Arielle's point, watching the reveal of each of these characters is very impressive for the same point. Yeah. It shows each one is so much more complex than we initially see. Yes, even in the beginning, even we were putting them in the boxes, right? Oh, there's the jock, there's the whatever, there's the whatever.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to, but then by the end, they're kind of teaching us a lesson.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows us how expansive we are as human beings. And this is something I talk about this with men's health a lot, because men are only, and I think Andy's character is like a perfect example of this. Like, men are only allowed to be angry and tough and brutal and powerful and champions and this and that. But the reality is that y'all are human beings. And that means that you are allowed to be hurt, sad, vulnerable, soft, feminine. You're allowed to be all of those things, because it's all of those things that make up a human being. And I think that this movie does a great job in breaking down these tropes and these archetypes of how someone is allowed to behave, and instead shows us what a human is actually like. And it breaks down the walls.
right?
Yes.
Blending these
Mhm.
archetypes.
Yeah, because
But
then we also have Brian's moment and Brian's reveal that he tried to kill himself because he didn't get a high enough grade
well,
and he couldn't
he's
even do
failing
that.
shop. He's
He's
never
failing
gotten an
shop.
F
Got an
Yeah,
before.
F.
it's
Yeah.
like and
Yeah.
again, like it comes back to the masculinity piece of it, right? This
Yes.
idea of what a boy should be able to do and how he should behave and where he should excel. And also, I
I
think
don't know
that
if it's a masculinity on that one, but you're right about the overachieving. I mean, the mom's license
overachieve.
plate was EMC2.
Totally, I forgot
Yes.
about that.
Yes.
So,
So
like,
definitely
they're both
clearly pushing
feeling
him to be
pressures from their parents.
Yes,
100%.
yes.
And but I think that it was very specific. It was a very specific choice that it was shop and not
Well, I think because he's the intellectual, I think was the
exactly.
point there. That it
Exactly.
was the opposite to the intellectual.
Yes.
He
but
knows
I think
trigonometry and
Yeah.
he can't put wires together to make the trunk turn
yeah,
the light on.
but
or
I think
whatever.
it does
Yeah.
play into masculinity, especially if you're looking at the 80s and you're thinking about culture of the 80s where like machismo was huge and this idea of masculinity was a driving force in our
I
society.
guess
in our
I just
culture.
feel like maybe they hit it harder with Andy and with Bender, with
100%.
the mascot.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. But I think that it plays into that choice as well. But then the thing is, he couldn't even kill himself, right? He chose a fucking flare gun and the
He
flare gun
brings a
goes
flare
off. Like
gun. Yeah.
and it's like it's all of those layers too.
Which one of my favorite things, the opening of this movie, all of those establishing shots of the school, we see Brian's
Trophy
locker
case and all that.
Brian's
blown
locker is
up.
all burnt up and charred.
Oh, yes.
And we see his locker before we know what that is, right?
Is
And
that the
the
first
thing-
place we see the F word?
Yes.
movie?
Yeah.
Ooh,
The
yeah.
There's a
slur,
couple uses of the
F
F word.
slur. Yes, we
Yeah.
see the F slur early in the film, and then
Mhm.
the F slur is used later. But
Yeah.
it is an '80s movie.
Yeah. And it was a slur of the time.
Yes.
And
Can I ask you guys how observant
Yes.
were you with this movie when we were living in the library set, and I guess what I'm getting at is I noticed something I'd never noticed on any previous viewing when Emilio Estevez Andy has smoked the weed and he's now running around up on the mezzanine around on the balcony.
Mhm.
He passes a number of interesting flags. One is the rebel flag, as in what's on top
Yeah.
of the
Oh,
General
yeah.
Lee.
Mhm.
Okay.
One of which is a 13 colony original Betsy Ross United States flag.
I noticed that.
and
one.
then the really random one that I can't figure out because it didn't look like all other 49 were represented. My home state of Connecticut's flag was also up there.
Really?
It's the only blue one, yeah, and it's unmistakable. So
That's
I
so
can't even
funny.
figure out why
Not
that is.
Chicago?
Maybe set dressing. Just thought it was random, and maybe they didn't think. I don't know.
Well, sometimes
Because if
art
it's supposed to be
departments sneak
Chicago,
things in.
the rebel flag makes no sense up there.
Yeah.
I
at
mean, I
all.
get it for a library though, having like the 13, the OG 13 stars, having the rebel, like,
I
over
do.
the
I hear
time.
you. I hear you. Yeah. I mean, that's why I was asking the question because it seemed odd to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
even with that, it's still.
Well,
still
one
weird.
of the things that I noticed this time around that I had not realized before is that the movie opens with him reading the letter, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Begins
guess
and
I
ends
never thought
with
about
the
it
letter.
before. Yeah.
The only difference is Anthony Michael Hall reads the entire letter at the beginning, whereas at the end, each actor says their own archetype.
Yeah,
Their
which I love.
their voice comes in for the brain, the athlete,
Yeah.
the basket case, the criminal, the princess.
Yeah.
Which
By
I
the way,
like.
dancing scene
did-
behind you, and it's super fun.
Did we both notice that Carl the janitor was man of the year at this high school when he was a
Oh,
student
yeah,
at the high school?
I remember
Yes.
that.
John Capellos. There's a young photo of John Capellos as man of the year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And he's still working at this school.
Yeah.
I've always liked that actor. He's kind of always been just a character actor. I've never seen him lead anything, but I've always liked him.
Yeah, he's in Weird Science, so we'll see him again.
Ooh, I can't wait. Still haven't seen it.
That's
Very
a
excited.
great movie too.
He's also in another movie that I love, Roxanne, the Steve Martin.
Oh yeah.
Oh
movie.
yeah, I
Yeah.
forget about that one. That
Yeah.
wasn't 85 though, right?
No, that is
88,
87, I
89.
think. 87, yeah.
So once you guys get all the way through 1985, are you going to go to like a really shit year and do like the worst year for movies?
No,
There's so many good movies.
I have an idea of when we finish 85. I have an idea
You're
of where
gonna
I'd
have
like to go.
that's gonna be in like 5 years. 'Cause there's so many good
Yeah,
movies.
No,
in
we're cooking through them.
You're doing, you're
We're
cooking with gas.
This is episode 28,
Yeah.
and my list, because we're not doing every single goddamn movie that came out. We're
Yeah,
doing
just
the,
the good
the major releases with a
Yeah.
couple of cherry picked stuff that I want to talk about personally. And I think we're close to 90 or something movies I've selected. I can't remember what the actual number is, but so we're
You
close
should have
to
seen
a
us
third.
bouncing all of the films that were made that year back and forth, narrowing down the list to get to like a palatable amount. Otherwise, there's like 2,000 movies that came out that year.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so the group sitting at the back of the library, I think, is like some of the strongest acting I think I've ever seen, especially from young people. The way everybody carries themselves through that whole section of the movie is incredible.
Does anybody know if they shot this in sequence or not? Because I know exactly what you're talking about, and it seemed like by the end they genuinely felt like they had bonded more than they had in the beginning.
I forgot to bring that up, but the movie was shot over the course of 34 days in sequence.
I love that.
So
I mean,
by the end, we are a family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not only do we have our rehearsal period where we're working out the characters, the script, whatever, but now we're shooting the film in sequence. So we know where what has happened to each of the characters, and we know where we're going because they're acting. But I think a big part of it is playing off of what they've all experienced and what they've experienced together, as like Jay, you're saying, as the shooting of the 34 days goes on, they themselves are getting closer and closer and closer as a unit.
All three of us have done productions throughout our life, so that bond just happens. Like, you can't even avoid it. Even people you didn't like in the beginning, by the end, you're family.
And I want to also add that I have been on productions as an intimacy coordinator where the story was that these two characters absolutely hate each other. And working with a method actor, bringing it back to method acting, working with a method actor who's playing a role that hates their co-lead or their scene partner for the entire film, and then all of a sudden we have to shoot an intimacy scene. That takes a lot of work because we can't always shoot things in sequence. Most of the time, we're not shooting them in sequence like that.
Yeah.
And there are considerations that we have to make in terms of the human experience behind the actors. And even if you're not method acting, it can be really difficult to go from, I have been playing this character that hates this person for 3 weeks, and now all of a sudden we have to shift into an intimacy scene where we're like super into each other. That takes work, and we have to allow time to work that.
Pretend I like you.
Yeah. I mean, people are like, oh, but it's acting, but it's like, yeah, but the acting that I was just doing is the exact opposite of what I now have to do. And I have to create this chemistry and I have to create all this stuff. It's a heavy load. So that is something that we consider as filmmakers I think more so now when it comes to intimacy, because we were not approaching intimacy scenes in the same way. And now with coordinators, we can be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't shoot this right after this time, or let's not maybe shoot this right after lunch when the actors are not going to make it or whatever.
Onion breath.
But that is part of the consideration of the experience of the people who are on the set. And I've also done a lot of first kisses, and I love when those scenes come early in the production and we can actually play into the awkwardness of two actors having to perform that specific act when they've only been working. We never want that on day one, but maybe day 3. Yeah. It's a great tool.
Trick of the trade.
Yeah. It's like, listen, we can lean into this. It is okay if you're like a little bit, depending on the scene, but like, it's great when we can play into the giggles, when we can play into the awkwardness, because that's also part
Love
of
the
the,
gamers.
we have to separate the actor from the intimacy 1,000%. And there's also room to like play into awkwardness a little bit more. But it is difficult when you're like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Oh, wait, now we're playing this scene where we're like 3 weeks into being deeply in love.
Yeah.
Daryl Boggs has a side note. I think Arielle was an excellent choice for this breakdown, getting into the psychology of it all.
100%.
Thank you.
I totally agree. I'm enjoying this
Daryl.
conversation so much.
I sent a list of a few different I mean, you saw my list, but for the viewers, I had like I like contingencies. I'm ever the producer. I'm always going to be like, well, here are different options. Let's go with what you're feeling with the most, and we can have the best possible show. And yours was like an immediate The Breakfast Club, which I was glad because I know the film well.
Arielle was one of the guests that were fighting over doing the one from last week. Spies Like Us.
Yeah, and I listened to that one.
She was fighting over Spies Like Us, with some other people wanted that one too. But I do agree that when it comes to who you are and what you do, this is probably a better fit.
Yeah,
I totally agree. And I was really looking forward to your perspective on this film in general.
Has anything surprised you about what I've said?
I don't know about surprising. I don't know about surprised. I think it's more just like, I like the conversation. I think that a film like this deserves the conversation because there is so much at play, not in just the dynamics between the characters, right?
Yeah.
They're saying so much in this movie. And this leads to like the fact that like this movie is kind of timeless, other than a few little things that kind of date it to the 80s, but
no cell phones,
parental pressure, drugs, sexual pressure,
class divide,
tropes, archetypes,
abuse,
archetypes.
All of that stuff still happens in the modern day and will continue to happen, right? So there is so much that's being discussed and put out in this film that it starts conversations, or has the ability to start conversations, especially for young people.
I think that's why even young people who watch this movie still connect with it, because like you said, these themes are timeless. It's like tarot cards, y'all. We've got timeless archetypes. And, the reason why people still connect with tarot cards and why you see them in all these different spaces and areas and cultures is because it's just about the archetypes and the human experience. And anytime we have something that is focused on these tropes, that it doesn't matter what the technology is, like you said, it doesn't matter what is going on, we still have these tropes and these archetypes that we are fighting to be and to break out of, and to be seen as or not seen as.
And even to your tarot cards point, tarot cards, based on whatever you believe, like they're a conversation starter. They're a thing to allow you to think a certain way about your tarot reading. It's not written in stone.
It's not literal.
It's not literal. Exactly.
More figurative, right?
Exactly.
It's
a representation.
What is this reading bringing out of you? And your focus on maybe something you want to work on or think about, right? Like it's similarly to what the archetypes of this movie. It's just starting these conversations and allowing people to think about things. Yeah.
Alamo in the basement.
Wait, can I see it? Wait. Oh yeah, I have to do. Oh, here we go. Hi everybody. I can see the comments now. Oh, this is fun. Hi.
One of the things I do want to talk about, because there is a divide on a aspect of this film, and it has to do with Allison's makeover.
Good. I was going to bring this up. We were probably all going to bring this up.
Yeah. Good. I know. We have our notes.
So when everybody's sort of bonding after their dance, Claire takes Allison, and kind of like it's presented as like the girls are going to have like a nice bonding moment together. She's like, come on. pulls her away from the banister. And what they proceed to do is remove her dark eyeshadow, push her hair back.
Hang on, what did I call it? I called it.
Put her in pink frilly shit.
Pink.
I put it in quotes. You're the one that I want.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Sandied him for her.
Yeah,
Greece.
it's a reverse Sandy.
It is a reverse Sandy. I wrote, she put on a bow and some pink shit, and all of a sudden she's hot, kind of like the whole glasses trope.
Yes,
right, exactly. She's all that. I don't know. I liked the other version of her better personally.
Yeah,
I liked the idea of the one girl wanting to help the other girl and doing something for. I loved the idea of that. But when it came down to I'm changing you because you're not good enough, like
yes. I said the makeover. The other note that I wrote, the first note that I wrote, is that the makeover is kind of obnoxious, but I also think it was good for her. So I think it was very obnoxious to like change her clothes, make her wear pink. Push her hair
too much.
back.
It was too much. Just the face, not the top, maybe, because the top was like.
I agree. I think the pink top is kind of what puts it over the edge, and the bow. But
where did it even come from?
The idea is that she's not like applying more makeup to Allison. In a way, she's like she's removing the dark eyeshadow and pushing her hair back. So
it's like
it is a makeover. But I agree the pink bow and top is kind of what puts it over to like too much.
Well, and the idea that she would now be more attractive to Emilio Estevez, I didn't like that. It's like you either like her or you don't.
But what I did like is I wish I wrote it down, but I think the line that he delivers there is something like, "I can see your face now," and it's nice, something like that.
Yes.
And I like that because I think.
He didn't say you're so much prettier.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're pretty now.
That I liked was that Molly was Claire was helping her, and Claire was like,
yes,
let me do this thing for you. Like, I can support you in this way. What I didn't like is that she just turned her into one of her little girly things. She just turned her into the popular girl trope instead of like, if she had just wiped her makeup away a little bit and maybe like
could have maintained her persona.
Exactly. Like, hey, makeup is about bringing you forward and, helping you be more visible. It's not necessarily about changing every part of who you are. And so I didn't like we said, the bows and the shirt and blah, blah, blah. I like that she had this point of care for her. And I loved that Andy's line was about seeing her. That part I loved.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really liked that she kind of looked to Brian for approval because her and Brian, again, power dynamics, right? Like they were on the most even playing field in terms of.
And they discuss it in that the back of the library scene, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so I liked the moment where she kind of looked at him and he was like, "Yeah, this is okay," because she's like,
he gives the nod,
yeah. Because which reasonable
and good for him too. Like that was good all around. It was a feel good.
Yeah,
you're right. That did erase my discomfort of but we're changing her.
Yeah,
but then I kind of realized that she's sort of playing this character anyway because she's not happy with her life, trying to get attention. So what's a change? It's not.
Well, and I do like the idea that it is a bonding moment between Claire and Allison.
Yeah,
and it is in a way Allison is reaching out for help.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of the film, she's doing all of these things.
You're
trying to ask for help.
She's trying to be seen.
She's trying to be seen.
All the above.
And so this is a way to express that. It's just part of it. It has become a cliche. Like you mentioned, the glasses come off and all of a sudden this character is hot girl. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. So glasses and the hair comes down. Done.
Yeah. So it is kind of hard to not see that cliche aspect of it, mixed with the fact that all of a sudden now Andrew is romantically interested in Allison.
He already was, though. He already was.
But this is the point that I was going to bring up, is that they go together to get the Cokes, so they have a connection there. They have another scene later in the film that's sort of a conversation between the two of them, So
where
there
vulnerability
is
is starting to come out. There was a moment
yes.
where like there both of those scenes, there was a little bit of them sharing and then shutting down. And it was
Yes.
the Coke scene. He shared a little bit and then he shut down. And then in
Yeah.
the other scene, she shared a little bit and then she shut down. So
So
I
there's
agree
a
with you that there's
small
like,
amount of groundwork laid out. Now,
yes,
to be fair, John Hughes is famous for 3-hour cuts of movies. This movie in itself started out as a 3-hour version. Planes, Trains, and
I bet.
Automobiles,
yeah,
3+ hours. He's famous for having these huge movies that he's
And
able
too many
to
scenes.
edit down, yes, and find the real meat, and that's what the final product is. So
yeah,
maybe there was more Allison and Andrew that led us to that to more of a romantic point that we just don't see.
yeah. I will
Um,
say all around, the romance at the end felt very contrived. I mean, I think that Bender and Claire felt contrived having a kiss and like an earring. That was a little bit
I
weird.
love the
Kind
earring.
of
I
understand
love the
it.
earring too. I love the earring.
I
I
mean,
love
there's a
that
part
it's
of
like
me that loves it,
her
but
daddy bought it for her, and she's
that's
giving
why
a
I like
diamond
it.
earring to the criminal, like it's in
That I
front of her parents. Yeah,
yes,
Yes, in front of
that
the
I
front
do.
windshield.
yeah,
I could have done without the kissing though. That all felt incredibly contrived, incredibly
yeah.
inauthentic. She would not, I just like, and if she were to do that in front of her parents, they would be honking the fucking horn. Like those parents, like the whole, I don't know, the
Mhm.
kissing part of it for both
I,
of them felt
No, they wouldn't
contrived.
honk their horn, but she'd have a talking to when she sat in that car and shut the door. I'll tell you that.
I
yeah,
think that
and we sort of
the
we had talked about
I think they
how
would have interrupted it. I think those parents would have interrupted it. If we were playing this grounded and real,
Nope. You play it
I think they
cool.
would have.
Nobody reacts.
I
Yeah,
They're gonna
I'm a
get it
girl
later.
and I have
With
parents
that
of
rich
girls,
mentality, they're
so
gonna get it later.
we did
I
sort
don't
of
know. I
talk
went
about how
I would disagree.
there is an element of Claire doing it to get a rise out of her parents,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
That's why
That's
she's
the only reason I can let that go.
yeah.
But the other, it just like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not,
Well,
I
here
wasn't a fan of either one of those kisses.
this leads me to my next question, and it's a
Mm.
question that's posed in the film. What happens on Monday?
I wrote that
What
down too.
what do you two
Such a great
believe?
think that
question for them to
Claire-
ask in the movie.
Yes.
Yes.
100%. And I think Claire is 1,000% right. I think that they all would have gone back to what they were doing, with the exception of Brian and Allie.
And Allison,
I think
yeah.
Allison they would have acknowledged each other. I don't know that they ever would have been friends, but they would have acknowledged each other. They would have, they
And
would have connected.
I can
And
very much see. Sorry, go ahead, Arielle.
No, I think that they would have stolen looks between each other.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they would have publicly, like the popular ones, I don't think that they would have publicly acknowledged each other.
Yeah.
By the end of the movie, perhaps that was a little bit different. But listen, I went to camp, and this movie, I even wrote down summer camp vibes. This is going to camp, where you have your school life. Did either of you go to camp?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, so you guys know, you have your school life, you have your school friends, the school dynamics, the school popular kids, not popular kids, all those archetypes, all those tropes, and then you have camp, and shit is different at camp.
Yeah,
There's
different
different
kids.
popularity,
It's
Yeah.
different kids,
power,
yeah.
different kids, different archetypes. You are a different person at camp, especially if you go to a camp that's like not necessarily in your town or whatever.
Yeah.
There is different stuff. But then when you know somebody from your high school or junior high that goes to your camp and they're very popular or whatever, like maybe your friends there, you have these different dynamics here, and then you go back to school and that shit doesn't exist anymore at school. That's a very real
totally
thing.
true. You could be best friends with that popular person at summer camp, but the second semester, September starts,
You fall back into the old everything.
And
so that's what I felt would happen.
I think if the question was not posed in the movie, I have a very strong feeling that Brian would have gone up to Andrew on Monday, would have gone up to Bender, and would have been just absolutely devastated to have been like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what are you doing? Get out of
He's
your
almost in
nerve,
tears
right?
when he tells them, like, just so you know, I wouldn't do that to any of you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was going to say he's
Exactly.
devastated there, you know?
Yeah.
Thankfully, he did it there and not at school, but that it was giving me summer camp.
Yeah. And
I love Claire's honesty in that moment. I really loved that about her.
it's
And she's
harsh.
like, who the fuck are we kidding? Who are we kidding? This is how it's going to be. And you know that.
Yeah.
It's funny,
Man,
though.
oh,
I
man.
do think that it's different at the end of the movie than it was in that conversation, because I do agree with you that I think she was right there. But I think in the end of the movie, I don't. I don't think it's – you're right. It's probably more stealing looks and whatever. It's not like come sit with us at the lunch table. But there's definitely a –
I
no,
agree.
he's okay. Like, you know, why are you talking to him? Like, he's okay.
He's cool. Like, yeah,
he's
just
okay.
leave him
He's
alone.
cool. Trust me.
There's going to be a little bit of like, he's fine. Just leave him alone. You
Somehow
don't
the
need to
nerd's life is not going to be so bad on Monday. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Not friends, but something has
or at least
shifted.
I choose to believe that. That could be me like wanting to wrap it up.
I do believe that something would have shifted. I think at the point that the question was posed, probably not. But I think after such deeply vulnerable shares, probably at least one of them would have shut down completely and they'll go back to everything, right? Like they're humans and they're children.
Yeah.
But I do think that it would be a matter of the two lower power people connecting, being fine. Everything is out in the open there because they have nothing to lose. Yeah. And I think it would have been stolen.
And they were already fine.
And they were already fine.
Established that they're, like you said, you were talking, guys were both mentioning the hierarchy before. They seem to be on the same level, whatever that is.
Well, and in reality, Allison says that she has no friends, so she might end up with Brian as a friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
I think that's and they sort of implied that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like,
and
if I had friends.
The power, it was the power of dance. The power of dance, their dance montage brings them all together. And that's what changed Mondays for them.
And I don't know if I said this earlier, but there was the shot of their feet walking down the hallway. And then don't forget there was the shot of them dancing later too.
Oh, yes.
A close up of the feet as they went like,
yeah.
Yeah, I like that actually.
Classic stuff.
We love a good dance montage.
You know, I was almost more impressed with when the three guys were all in unison doing this thing.
Yeah,
I know, that's what I was talking about.
That's what we were talking about before.
How close they were together. Yeah. I was like, wow,
that's what I was saying. Is like,
get your legs under his leg. That's really impressive.
Exactly. And
they weren't touching.
In the reality of the world of the Breakfast Club, did those three characters have a conversation and choreograph that move before they did it?
Heck did. Yes. In those
That's
34 days, they came up with that shit.
I don't know. I think they would have just been like fucking around and it would have come together from a series of them like fucking around, not like dance is a language all its own.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Well, and
I think
they're all natural talents. They're incredible dancers.
Yeah.
They're going to start a troupe on Monday.
That's what happens on Monday. They're on a dance team.
They're all in theater.
We're all joining the color guard.
I love when they're all leaving and Bender says, "See you next Saturday" to Carl.
Yeah.
Love the moment.
Yeah.
And, you know what? I put that Carl Carl the janitor is the wise one in this movie. He is the one who actually is the lowest, you know, he's like, do you think I wanted to do this? I wanted to be, what do you say? I wanted to be John Lennon.
All around. Yeah. Oh yeah. I want to be John Lennon. That's right. You know, he follows around all these shitheads and he listens to what they say. You know, he's well informed.
Goes through their lockers.
Yeah. Tells them that the clock is 20 minutes too fast. Exactly. Goes through their lockers.
Yeah.
There's when Carl comes in early in the film and he says hi to Brian, right? And sort of Brian gets embarrassed that the janitor knows him.
Knows his name. And the other and he's like, "Oh, is that your dad?" And I thought for a moment maybe it was his dad, but it's not his dad.
But it's just because Brian is a quote unquote loser and has nobody to talk to. So he talks to the teachers, he talks to the adults in the room.
And he's the nerd guy,
It's a quintessential nerd thing.
And the other theory.
Talk to them.
Because Carl says
we got dropped off by mom and the kids, so maybe is he the dad?
Well, no, because John Hughes, his cameo is playing Brian's dad at the end of the film.
Oh, you're right.
Hughes himself plays the dad picking up Brian.
Right.
In a silent cameo. But one of the theories about Carl knowing Brian is that because he says, I go through your lockers, Brian
the one that
or
found
Carl
it.
knows about the flare gun, and obviously the flare gun goes off in the
Oh,
locker. But
He would have. I think
Carl
he knew
knows
about it
that it was
anyway.
Carl knows that it was Brian who had the flare gun.
I think he would have.
whoa.
Yeah, I mean, of course, he's the janitor. Like
Yeah,
janitors
he would
fucking
know.
know everything.
He's got to clean up that locker. He has,
But
Yeah,
he doesn't know why
exactly.
Brian was going to use it, or does he?
Maybe not. Maybe he
Okay.
doesn't know that Brian was dealing with,
Right.
some
But he
suicidal
has-
thoughts.
We see the
But
locker
here's-
burnt in the beginning, so he obviously
Yes.
knows that something happened. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a janitor, it seems like, for a long time, and he seems to know these kids. I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if he knew what was going on because this kid is a nerd and he had a gun. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't take much, even in 1985, to put 2 and 2 together. You know,
Yeah.
This was not the time of school shootings, so that's not something that would have crossed the
Well,
mind.
it's fun. It's not funny that you say that, but there is a at the beginning, the establishing shots of the school. There is the quote, "I don't like Mondays."
Yes.
I have always
Mm.
attributed that as to graffiti related to Garfield.
Oh,
Yeah.
It is not.
Mondays.
It
Yeah.
is not.
Mondays. Yeah.
It is a direct quote from a school shooter in the UK.
Whoa.
Really?
There was somebody who had a terrible life and was dealing with mental health, and they took
Wow.
took a gun from their front window. They could see a school in the UK, and they killed a bunch of people outside of a school
Oh, God.
randomly one day.
Oh.
And they asked like why did they do it? And their quote was, "I don't like Mondays," and this was something to like sort of spice up the day. And
Wow.
they got help. There's a whole story. I can't remember. I believe it
Sure.
was a woman. I can't remember her
But-
name who did it, but
There-
that
But
is
so
a
it was
direct
before
quote.
85, and this is a reference
Yes.
to that.
That is a
Wow.
reference to that. But I always
That's
assumed it was a Garfield thing. But it is,
I would have
it is
assumed
in
the same.
reference to a school
I didn't
shooting.
even think about that. But
Because
that
Garfield was
story,
popular in the 80s.
yeah, he
Yes.
was. That story reminds me of the show that was pretty much all body cams on Netflix called something like Neighbor, something next door, something neighbor, and it was this woman that like she had a problem with the kids and wound up killing one of the moms. It was horrific, but it was kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, one of those things. Shifting gears here.
Yeah.
One of the well, actually, I wrote down this quote, which I thought was really interesting. Not what I wanted to talk about, but I thought it was a very interesting quote. "You'd think I'd speak for you. I don't even know your language." Judd said that to, I think, Andy.
Andy,
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought was a very interesting quote. The other thing I thought was interesting was when he said, "Eat my shorts," because this was
Yeah.
the beginning of Bart Simpson. And this,
Not yet. Bart Simpson was a little bit later.
89.
okay, but the
When the
point is, I
when the
think
Tracy Ullman show started, but you're
what
right.
year? 89 or 88?
88, 89,
Okay,
yeah, whenever
so I
the
got
Fox
my years
network
wrong,
started.
but I think the idea of what came up for me remains is that the 80s was really the first time where we see kids speaking back to adults in such a way, which is why Bart Simpson was so popular and why he really, like that's a part of it.
Didn't you watch Welcome Back, Kotter? I mean, that was like the 70s and 60s, right?
But
were they as rude as Bart Simpson on Welcome
Yeah.
Back, Kotter?
No, probably not. But now that you're
Because
mentioning,
I
bet
grew
the
up-
tie-in is that Bart Simpson. I bet that "Eat My Shorts" came from Breakfast Club for Bart Simpson.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
I bet you're right.
Maybe.
The tie-in, it just probably goes
Yeah.
the other way.
But it was not even so much. The "Eat My Shorts" maybe obviously have a direct link to Bart, and maybe you're right that it is that they got
Eat my
that
shorts,
from,
man.
yeah.
Don't have
But
a
what it
cow,
made me
man.
think of was
Nothing more.
also-
That's like Garfield in the Mondays. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
more Bart Simpson than "Eat My Shorts."
literally, or Cowabunga.
Right,
But
Cowabunga, dude. Yeah.
yeah. But it made me think of this era, which, maybe reasonably it started in the 70s too, but especially in the 80s and then into the 90s, where kids were speaking back to adults in a way that they absolutely were not in the 60s and the vast majority of the 70s. So
Yeah.
it's another one of those cultural shift moments in terms of psychology, how we're speaking to each other, how kids behave. So that just kind of really stood out to me.
I mean, I think you're probably right, but I'm also thinking like these are the detention kids. These aren't just generic regular. This isn't a sampling of the school of like, although maybe it is
really
because
only
you got
Judd
one
is
of
the
everything.
detention
Yeah,
kid.
maybe it is. Maybe you're right. Yeah.
Well,
It just
and
stood out to me.
Like
the
Ben,
only
you
reason
expect to have that kind of relationship with Werner.
Yeah.
Werner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burner, whatever.
And
Pokies.
I want to note for the audience, I keep going between character names and actor names because as an intimacy coordinator, it is really important that we are talking about, like, depending on the context of the conversation, it's important that we're talking about and using the actors' names because they are the ones that are using their bodies for XYZ. And then there are other times that we're talking about the story. So I keep floating in between actors' names and character names because I'm just used to doing that swap in my brain.
Because of the context, sure.
Yeah. So hopefully y'all are keeping track.
Well, and there's only a few actors in this movie, so it's easy to keep track of.
Yeah.
Here's another quote that we haven't really talked about. It comes from Allison. It's at the group sitting in the back. She says, "When you grow up, your heart dies."
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I wish they went further on that.
Yeah.
Well, it feels very much like Richard Vernon, right? Like he even talks about how he's worried about how these are the people that are going to take the generation that's going to
be running the country, right? World. Yeah. Yeah.
And even to your point, Arielle, he's struggling with the fact that these kids are talking back to him.
Yeah.
It used to be so easy when he first started being a teacher, but now the kids are shitheads, right?
Yeah.
But as Carl explains to him, like, no, you've changed, man. The kids are the same. You've changed, right? And really, he's becoming the shithead, right? Vernon,
is correct.
As he's
and
getting
Carl
older,
is right. Carl is right too.
His heart has died.
Yeah.
And he's becoming a shithead. He's becoming the problem, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also, again, the experience of her home life because she as a child has a big heart and sees other kids with big hearts and has all these big feelings. And then it's probably very hard for her to understand, why don't my parents care about me? Why don't they pay attention to me? Why don't they love me the way that I see parents loving them, their kids in movies? Or she doesn't have any friends, but like I see kids getting dropped off. Why are my parents not giving me a hug goodbye? I think that also is why she's saying that.
Is there any?
It saddened me to a great deal because I feel that way currently, and I'm like, it's not a product of being old for me. It's a product of losing my wife and all. But like, I really related to her character this viewing more than I ever did before. And that leads me, if you'll indulge me, which detainees are we all? You said that. You said that Anthony Michael Hall is John Hughes, right? What about all of us, the three of us?
Oof.
I feel like the only one that I fit in is the brain. I don't feel, I'm not athletic. I'm not a princess. I'm not a basket case. And I'm definitely not a criminal. If I have to fit into an archetype, that's the one that I've always felt connected to is Anthony Michael Hall's brain.
Yeah. How about you, Arielle?
I have always been very bad at fitting into any sort of a box or choosing one lane. I think if I was forced to, I would still have a two-part answer. That would probably be perceived as Claire, but actually Allie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm an Allie, Anthony Michael Hall mix. I can't remember Anthony Michael Hall's name. What was his name?
Brian.
Yeah, Brian and Allison probably.
Yeah.
It's weird too because I don't feel like the basket case, but that whole like not relating to anybody else thing.
Yeah.
I definitely have that.
Yeah.
Also, I do like wearing black. I only wear black, so.
That's what I do. But then I'm not the. I got terrible grades in school, so even though I was smart enough to to get along, I wasn't the brain.
That's I'm the exact same way.
And I was not popular.
Yeah.
I was more fluid, like
now,
I could hang with this
I was the one who could actually talk to all these different persuasions, the jocks, the goths, the whatever the heck.
I had like a friend
the theater geeks, the musicals.
100%. Yeah. I never, and this is why I say I'm probably more like an Allison because I did have friends. Let's say that. I'm grateful for that. But I didn't ever feel like I had a group of friends. I had like a friend here. And so I
all over the place.
I would hang around with their friends because of this. And then maybe I'd have a friend here and then I'd have a friend here and I'd have a friend here. So I was absolutely not a Claire. But I think if you look at me on the outside, you might think that I'm a Claire type, but I'm like, no, I'm literally by myself all the time and I have no friends. I have friends,
Yeah.
Right.
but you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I that's why I
Yeah.
say those things. And I'm not smart or nerdy enough to be a Brian, although I do nerd out on things. And I'm not
Well, I
mean
related to him on the being afraid to speak up for yourself when you're younger. When I was his age,
Sure,
I
yeah,
really felt more like a Brian, just I wasn't like the brainiac like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was their age, like I really didn't fit into any of those things. Like I was a cheerleader, which is why like you would probably think a Claire type, but like I wasn't cool. But I don't know. Yeah, I do think my assessment is probably the most accurate for me.
I think we all know
Well-
the least coolest cheerleader is the coolest cheerleader.
You're just saying that because you're my friend.
Or
Full-
Goonie
full-
and Dave said he met Paul Gleason, Richard Vernon in the early 90s when he visited the movie theater he worked at in Coral Springs, Florida. Pleasant
Cute.
guy.
Oh, cool.
I immediately left the theater, rushed home to get my paperback copy of Miami Blues, and rushed back to the theater to get Paul's autograph. As Paul was signing, I recognized the boy he was with as one of my childhood buddies. Not sure if the
Bullies. Yeah,
Not sure if
no.
the bully recognized me back. A bit traumatic. Whoa,
Oh,
Dave. Buddy.
Crazy.
sweetie.
I also have met Paul Gleason. He came in to read for us at David E. Kelly, and I went over and said hello to him. With it only a few times have I ever done that, and it's always like B actors like this. But for me, it was not another teen movie where he's parodying himself.
Yeah.
from Breakfast Club.
That's great.
I have to, full disclosure, I had to write a description for this episode.
Ooh.
And I did write, I wrote, join the brain, the criminal, and the princess, aka Brandon J. Ryan, and special guest Arielle Zadok.
Hilarious.
I can amend it. And the
You're
only
the
reason
brain.
you're
So Jay's the criminal?
yes, and Jay's the
Let's
only reason you
fucking
I
go.
I labeled you the
I know
criminal is
why.
because
I know why.
because I know, and but you
I
told
know
the
why,
story.
too.
You told the
The
story last
microphone.
night on Late Night
Go on
Playset.
Dave's
So
microphone.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I
I'm
called
sure
you the
everyone
criminal.
listening probably already knows, but that is David Letterman's microphone.
Yeah.
Oh man,
We're working on
That
it.
is
We're working
actually
on it. I had a
perfect.
great exchange with Worldwide Pants today. We're working on it.
Oh,
That's
good.
wonderful.
Good.
Yeah.
Very
I just thought-
embarrassing. But yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, you nailed it. You did a good job. So, like I said, princess on the outside, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Is
I'm
there
more like a
anything
fucking
else?
queen, Brandon.
Yes, yeah, the queen, the brain, the criminal, and the queen.
Yes.
Is there
Alright.
anything else plot wise that we want to hit? I think we've hit pretty much all the big stuff.
Yeah.
The David Bowie quote in the beginning I thought was very
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah, from the song Changes.
Right. Which is I love that song so much.
I have it here. And these
Yeah.
children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through.
They're going through. Beautiful. Emilio's dad just died, that actor. I can't remember his name. Maybe Ron Dean. I can't remember his name, but he played Tom Cruise's uncle in Cocktail. He just passed away.
Wow.
Seeing Ali Sheedy is just getting me more excited about Astoria because of all of that stuff. Because she's in Short Circuit and stuff.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
the Short
forgot.
Circuit the year after 1986.
I have to watch that again because I haven't seen it in decades.
I thought Molly Ringwald was just adorable in this. I didn't know she was
So
16, but that makes sense. She just
Yeah.
looks like an adorable little high school girl.
Mhm.
I believed her in that
Cute.
character 100%.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Paul
Great
Gleason
haircut.
is stellar was a note of mine.
I did also
I really
write.
thought he was amazing.
I said this earlier, but I'm noticing now in my notes that I said, after all these years, I still don't know if I like the diamond earring thing. I do like the diamond earring. It was the kissing that I think I really meant, but it was
Yeah.
like 1:30 in the morning.
Did anybody
The
else
last-
notice no musical score for this?
Very, very minimal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of reinterpreting the "Don't you forget about me" at
Yeah.
times, and yes,
Yes, and then it seemed like only Allison seemed to have her own
Yeah.
music.
Mhm.
love
Did you all
the
notice
love
that?
theme. Love
Oh, that's
theme.
what it's called?
Yeah. So there's
That's
love
the Allison
theme
music?
and I'm the Dude, Dream Montage, and the Reggae, which
That's when they were smoking weed.
that has to be the the culturally insensitive 1985 version of the weed song.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
I also wrote down,
so
this
there's-
is not plotty. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's very, very minimal score, which you do notice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're sitting when it's all dialogue-y, and I wrote that very Kevin Smith dialogue-y. You're really sitting in it. There's no escape. Like, we have to pay attention to what's happening here.
Yeah.
Did you notice Anthony Michael Hall had 2 different socks on? I loved that. I don't know why I loved it.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yes,
That's
when he's
cute.
hanging over the banister, he's doing that weird thing where he's like sitting and holding his legs. Yeah.
He is doing that. We actually see it a number of different times throughout. And I don't know why I liked it. I wore those socks as a kid, the 3-striped socks.
Yeah.
They're white socks, but then they have a thin stripe, a thick stripe, and a thin stripe.
Uh-huh.
And one of his was red and one was yellow. And I just thought that was the best. I don't know why. Like 2 different Converse shoes. I thought it was
love
great.
that.
The Captain Crunch and sugar on white. I've got to try that. See what that tastes like. Did anybody else notice the not saved button on Bender's?
Glove? Yeah.
I had never noticed that previously.
Yeah, I like that. The other thing, so we talked about the first bonding moment. The first bonding moment was before that, and it was actually when they all started whistling together.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, it's not Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but it is we're whistling.
I know exactly what it is. It is from the Bridge over River Kwai.
Yeah,
that's it.
1957. I wrote it down. I wrote down the song. Where is it here?
While you're looking for that, the other thing,
the Colonel Bogue March from Bridge over River Kwai.
Here you go.
Yeah, so
but it gets reused in everything whenever you want that specific.
That does happen later. The nobody ratting on Bender after the screw loose, that happens first. The whistling happens at lunchtime.
No, I thought it was way earlier.
Yeah, 11:30. Carl the janitor enters the custodial arts. Then the clock ticks over to 11:30. And that's when
creepy janitor and my next note was whistling is their first bonding moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
I guess
Andrew and Allison are sent out to go and get the Cokes.
Yeah. Oh wait, I just lost my note. Oh, also, it's kind of wild that the expectation was that these kids are going to sit in a room for 8 hours and not get up and not speak to each other and not say a word. Like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
And write a 1,000-word essay about who they are.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Angry Men in Power was another note that I mentioned.
just a generic thought.
Totally.
Angry Men in Power.
Angry Men in Power.
That was probably a note from just the regular day-to-day that had nothing to do with the movie.
Okay, so here's the note right before that. Let me read you this sequential note taking that I did. I wrote about low budget, and then I wrote, I wasn't attracted to any of those tropes, but now I like nerds. And then the next line I wrote was Angry Men in Power. Then it came Eat My Shorts.
Eat my shorts, man. Yeah, you're right. I can't hear anybody Bart Simpson saying that.
Can't, hindsight.
John Hughes apparently would make mixtapes for the cast every week.
Oh my God.
He would have mixtapes for them
so that they wouldn't forget about him. Sorry. Low-hanging fruit.
Oh, another note that I wrote was $31,000 a year. You're not going to make me look bad in front of those kids.
Yeah.
When he says, I make $31,000 a year, you're not going to make me look bad in front of those kids when he's in the closet.
And I own a home.
A home. This guy.
So to me, I don't think he was bragging about the amount of money he made. I think I don't know. Because in the 80s, maybe 31 was pretty good. But in my mind, he was
80,
more
000.
bragging. It wasn't bragging. It was one of those like, I have to pay a mortgage on $31,000 a year. I'm not going to let you fuck my shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, it was a strange thing to say to a child while you're locking them in a closet. It was very weird.
Well, I feel like Bender had pushed him to the limit. It was getting physical, taking him out of the library.
And this is
Bender messed with the bull.
He was unbreakable until he
Bender
got
the horns, okay?
He messed with the bull.
He messed with the bull. Bender got the horns.
And also, this is one snippet of that relationship that we've been seeing, but I think it's if it's not
ongoing.
obvious, I'm going to state
Yes.
the obvious.
Yeah.
They've been in
Ongoing.
the chase for a
Yeah.
long time, probably
Although-
5 years if he's been held back before,
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing. It's already come up on the show once, but Richard Vernon is not the principal. He is just
No.
a teacher.
That's
Yes.
right.
He's just the faculty member who
Yeah.
got stuck
Short-
doing
short
Saturday
straw.
detention.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he is
Yes.
often identified as the principal, but he is not the principal.
Oh, and
his
also Carl.
office has the rigid tool calendar
Yeah.
with like the bikini babe on it. Like, what an inappropriate thing for a teacher to have in his office.
Everything
at
about that man
school.
is inappropriate. Everything about that man. Also, speaking of inappropriate and that man, I have that Carl knows what's up when he's looking in those files. Remember?
Yes, we didn't talk about that.
We
He
didn't talk
goes
about that,
down
but Carl,
and looks at the
Carl-
confidential files.
He's like, "What are you
And
doing in
Carl
there, bud?"
catches him and calls him out
Mhm.
on him, and then
Yep.
asks for $50 to keep his mouth shut.
Yep. Carl's about to be a good guy, and then he's like, "Pay me, buddy." All right. I like that bait and switch because we think that Carl is going to be doing this good thing and the righteous guy and all seeing, all
I
knowing
think it's
senator.
a joke. I think
I don't
he's
know.
calling. I think he's calling him out on it, and I think he's joking with him, right?
About the
Yeah.
money.
About the money. Yeah,
I agree.
I think he's
but who
making a
knows? He
point.
could be
Maybe.
right.
Yeah,
He could be
yeah,
right.
yeah.
The other thing
But I
that
got the same read that these guys are buddies and now they're having beers. They're not having beers after he paid him $50.
Yeah.
yeah,
But maybe
I mean,
that's why they
I
bought
think
the
they would.
beers.
I think they would.
Regardless, Vernon
I mean, I don't
shouldn't
think
be
they
digging through
necessarily
the
like each
confidential
other. They're not
files.
friends, but the
Oh,
other
I got
thing,
the impression that they were friends, that they did like each other.
I think that they're just like whatever, man. Like just two dudes hanging out. I don't know
I
that
think
they're
they
like
became friendly after
colleagues.
the beers.
Yeah.
I
think
agree.
so
I think they're
too.
colleagues. Not, they're not having conversations, but I think they became a little closer after the beers.
So
Mhm,
then
I
is that
agree.
intentional? Is that exactly like the kids? Because that's the same sort of relationship. You got a class divide, the janitor and the
Yep.
teacher, and now they're
And they spent a little time together and realized that they're not
Right.
so different.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
and
The
that
other
the
thing-
janitor ended up being the wise one.
All seeing,
Yeah.
all knowing. We also didn't. There was a moment where Allison says she just wants someone to care about her, and this is actually a moment where Andy validates her because he doesn't brush her off. He doesn't say you're making it up, you're kidding. He just basically acknowledges like that
Yeah.
sounds really hard, and
Well, and
that is a moment for
Yeah,
sure,
and I
and
think
that is
that's
also what
the
helps
second-
bond.
Yeah, I think that's the second moment I was trying to remember earlier when we were talking about the groundwork
Yeah.
for their romantic relationship. That's the
Yes, it
scene.
is.
That's the second time
Yep.
they're sharing
They're in the
screen
library.
together. Yes.
They're like
and
upstairs.
there's another moment. Yeah.
Yeah. The first moment was of him not telling the story and just being like, "Oh, I'm here because of all the pressure," and she's like basically saying bullshit. Tell me the truth. And that he shuts down. And then the second one was her sharing her part, and that's what she said is and him validating that, which is a really
Yeah,
really important thing. The fact
I
that he
wrote
didn't
down-
push that away.
Yeah. I wrote down Allison and Andrew see each other. That is that scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Dance
want
break.
to quickly. Yeah, I want to quickly talk about this iconic photo.
Mhm.
Uh,
Oh, I love that.
So this is the Breakfast Club photo. This photo was shot by Annie Leibovitz, the world
Was
famous
it?
photographer. Yes,
Wow.
and then one of my favorite things that I own is an original Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 VHS tape.
What
where
the fuck?
And
they
Andy
parody.
Leibovitz did that too.
Yeah, they paid the $250,000 that Annie Leibovitz probably costs.
Hilarious.
But yeah,
But
I've
they're
always
it's
loved
obviously a direct rip. That's very impressive.
I
that's
love that.
exactly what they're referencing.
I
But
never noticed that. I never put that together that was the Breakfast Club pose.
Yeah.
Like exactly.
Wow.
Wow.
Put them next to each other. Hold them
And
up.
he's got this
together.
and the chainsaw.
Yeah.
Leatherface is where Judd Hirsch is. Judd Nelson. That'd be
Wow.
a different
Look
movie.
at that.
Funny.
Oh my
So funny.
God. That's great.
Yeah, it
The
is.
other thing I noted, speaking of this hand, is that last frame, like the last scene, that last shot is very shaky. Did you guys notice that?
Oh, like as he's walking?
Yeah, it is such a shaky shot.
Oh,
It's
I
like
didn't notice
the
that.
camera's literally like that. It's like
Huh.
until it fades to black.
I
I was like,
actually
oh,
didn't notice that.
yeah, it was odd.
Maybe that's why they did the freeze frame, because it was too distracting.
Maybe, but that was for sure that stuck out to me. So
I mean, it's we talked about it at the beginning, but it is so iconic.
yeah,
It's one of the most iconic images of the 80s in
yeah,
movies in general. That song with Bender freeze frame with his arm pumped,
mhm.
like any 80s movie montage is going
Just
to
watching.
include that shot.
Yeah. I want you to know that this is basically what it's like to hang out with Jay too, is like we'll be sitting, we'll be talking. He gets up, he goes, does the thing, and then we come back to the TV and he'll stand and
Gotta find
adjust
it.
to go
Yeah.
find the thing that we were talking about that we want to go see. It's
Yeah, but I
funny.
don't think you're right. It's locked off and it's as stable as could be.
God, it was shaky
Oh,
as
you're
hell on
checking the
on
shot.
Amazon when I watched it.
Nope.
That
Huh.
is so weird. Mine
It's
was
hard to describe, but it couldn't be more stable of a shot. It's a lock
wow.
off, and there's
I'll
no
have to watch
movement
the Amazon
whatsoever.
cut.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Oh, that's true. I own this on Apple TV, so it could be a different
It
cut.
might
You're
be.
right.
I watched my Criterion Blu-ray.
Unless something weird was going on with my screen, but it was on a table, so there's no reason why it would have been shaky. I'm like, why? What's up with this? What's up with this shot? How have I never noticed that before?
Well, that's what I thought. I thought what you were describing. I thought to myself, I would have noticed that. That's why I
Yeah.
went and
Yeah,
checked.
I felt the same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I wanted to shout out this. I haven't finished it, but I'm about halfway through it. I got to the Breakfast Club section essentially, but there's this wonderful book called John Hughes, A Life in
Wow.
Film, and it is all about John Hughes, his career, and all of his movies. I'm only a third of the way through it because I just stopped after I got to all the Breakfast Club stuff.
Wow.
But there was some one of the things I just wanted to show. I'm going to make myself big here for a second.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not how you think he means.
Ah.
I thought this was super cool. These are the original costume design boards for the Breakfast Club in this book.
Ooh, love that.
So
Oh, that's
there's-
funny because we did not. I mean, some I guess are close. You get the idea
Yeah.
with each one, but like
Yeah.
they didn't land where they.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, some did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty. That sketch is dead on.
Oh yeah, look
Huh.
at Claire. Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah,
varsity
his
jacket.
too. Yep.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty good.
But it's
Yeah.
just it's a really, really great book full of tons and tons of information, lots of great photos, and there's a whole chapter on John Candy, so I'm excited to finish it.
Oh, that's great.
I think other than finishing the release of the film, I think we've pretty much hit all of the plot stuff.
Oh yeah.
I
So
hate that
Breakfast Club-
Amazon has commercials. Just want to say that right now.
Yeah. Are you okay,
um,
Rosie? Are you stuck? Uh-oh. I gotta go. I gotta help this dog real quick.
no problem.
Are you gonna walk around?
Uh,
Where are you going?
Breakfast Club was
Oh,
released February 15th, 1985, with a budget of $1 million. That's
Wow.
all this movie cost.
Awesome. Other than the set to build in the library, like there's not a lot of money spent.
No, I mean,
It's cameras, crew, and film.
and
We
all
took
of
over an
your
existing school.
and your actors are relatively unknown. Molly and Anthony have just been in one movie the year previous. Judd Nelson, Ali Sheedy, and Emilio Estevez have been in smaller, more art housey type projects. So Breakfast Club opened number 3 at the box office. Number 1, still 11 weeks into its run, is Beverly Hills Cop, which we know ends up being being the #1 movie of 1984. Number 2 is Witness, the Harrison Ford film.
Oh, yeah. We watched that
Number
together, didn't we?
Number 3, Breakfast Club. Number 4, The Killing Fields, has been in theaters for 16 weeks. It's a 1984 film. And then number
Dude, The
5.
Killing Fields is brutal.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That's an amazing film with Sam Waterston.
Number 5 is Vision Quest, which is new this week. Breakfast Club played for 13 weeks in the theaters, ended up making $46.4 million.
Wow.
That's amazing.
$1 million budget for a talking head teen picture that essentially reinvented the teen movie genre.
Yeah.
Ends up being a classic of the 80s. $46 million isn't bad off of $1 million budget. And to top it off,
46 times the budget is pretty awesome.
it's pretty good,
right?
yeah.
Jesus.
To top it off, Breakfast Club is selected by the Library of Congress for the National Film Registry.
Really?
Yes, along with other John Hughes movies are Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Home Alone. Now, the other interesting thing is there is only 4 movies from 1985 that have been selected for the National Film Registry. And they are Desperately Seeking Susan, which
Madonna.
When I saw that, I was like, okay,
It's a weird movie. It's a weird movie. It's better than Who's That Girl, but it's a weird movie.
But it's a weird one to be chosen by the Library of Congress for the National Film Registry.
Absolutely.
So we've got
Although Madonna is a national treasure, so
she herself is, of course. Desperately Seeking Susan, The Goonies, The Breakfast Club, and Back to the Future. Those are the 4 films from 1985 that are preserved to the end of time by the National Film Registry.
Well, 3 of them I agree with wholeheartedly.
Totally, 100%. Yeah. I even feel that there's more in 1985 that are definitely, I would say, more important than Desperately Seeking Susan. That's for sure.
Pee-wee more than Desperately Seeking Susan? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Clue. Speaking of another movie in one location that feels like a play, but I'm very biased about that one.
Yes,
I love that movie.
Now, Siskel and Ebert did not cover The Breakfast Club on their TV show, but they both reviewed it separately for their subsequent shows and Chicago Tribune newspaper. Siskel ended up
one was the Sun Times, and one was the Chicago Tribune. They both were competing papers, right?
Yeah, so Siskel reviewed it for the paper, and then Ebert maybe reviewed it for the paper, but it was on his other show. He had another show.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I knew that.
He was sitting at his desk. I don't see a lot of clips of it. He's got quite a collection of toys and stuff. I thought it was really cool. His little collectibles on his desk.
The documentary about him is absolutely fantastic.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
It is. It's hard to watch because of the physicality of what he was going through at the end without having a jaw and stuff. But it's just a beautiful movie about what life's really about.
Well, and doing this show, I've been watching a lot more of Siskel and Ebert because I try to find their reviews every single week for the movies we're covering.
I think isn't the movie actually called like Life Itself or something?
Something like that. I got this
called
book
Life
recently.
Itself. Yeah. Oh,
I got this Ebert book of film. I just picked it up because he's
cool.
He's on my he's on the forefront of my mind a lot because I talk about him every single week.
Fair.
So Siskel rated it 3.5 out of 4 stars, which is wonderful. He really liked the performances. He liked what the movie was saying, and he himself was able to see the new direction of the teen movie, like what Breakfast Club is doing to the genre. And Ebert gave it a solid 3 out of 4 stars. Obviously this film has like an incredible legacy, has been parodied and referenced, as we've talked about, Not Another Teen Movie. There's a very famous Ariana Grande was on a TV show, Nickelodeon show called Victorious. There's a very famous Victorious episode where they essentially do every single beat of The Breakfast Club in 22 minutes on this kid show.
Whoa.
You know who's in it, Jay? Rob Riggle. Rob Riggle.
Oh, yeah.
He plays the Vernon character in the Victorious episode.
Awesome. That's
I
hilarious.
watched half of it and then skipped through the last half. It was
Sure.
I got the gist.
You get the gist. Yeah.
Um yeah, honestly, I don't think that there's much more to talk about other than, our personal ratings of the films. Jay, do you feel like going first?
Ooh. If you want me to.
I need
I'll
an
go first
example,
too.
so one of you guys got to go first.
Well, here's the thing. I'm conflicted on this one, and it's the first time that I'm considering using a half star.
Whoa,
And I'm
big.
really conflicted
28
about it. And
episodes in.
I don't think I'm going to do it just because I like the idea that we don't do it, Brandon. But like, I'm so between 3 and 4 stars on this. I think that there are so many aspects of the conversation we had tonight that make it deserve 4 stars. But when I was watching it, I was just like, I like a lot of things about it, but I don't put it on regularly. It's kind of like if you've seen, I don't know, I'm still conflicted. Like I'm really right between 3 and 4 stars on this, and it's not because it doesn't. It's because of how we rate things based on our enjoyment factor of the actual, experience. I think maybe if I grew up with it and it hit me as a teen and maybe affected me, and then somehow was part of my growth as a person, maybe it would be more, but I think I have to go 3 stars, knowing that, I would give it 3.5 if I could.
Yeah.
I want to even give it 4, but I don't feel that way about it. There are so many other movies that I do genuinely feel like 4 stars. Yeah. And I don't have that feeling about this. But I definitely enjoyed it, and I would watch it again. And it is a classic. It's absolutely an 80s classic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God, I feel like I'm talking my way into like giving it another star, but I'm gonna stick to 3.
Fair enough.
Me and Roger Ebert, 3 stars.
Yeah, you. Well, I mean, his system is based on 4 stars, so it's a higher rating in his system.
We should do. I know we really fucked it up with this because that actually makes sense because then nothing is in the middle. I'm playing it safe with 3 stars.
But I think that's totally fine because there's a lot. I play it safe with movies too, and I think it has room to grow. Right?
Yeah.
3 stars is how you're feeling right now but who knows? A movie, you could watch it and find something else, or it could grow on you and you could be thinking about it more and more. And down the road, maybe it does bump it up that extra star. Like there's nothing wrong with
other movies definitely have done that where I watch them later in life and I go, oh my God, I missed it the first time. This is a beautiful movie or whatever. I just couldn't see the pieces when I was younger. This is definitely one of those. I don't think it could hold my attention the way like Back to the Future and all that stuff did.
Yeah. What about you,
It's
Arielle?
so dialogue-y. There's no flashy anything in this.
Yeah. And it's out of 4 stars or 5 stars?
5. You do 5 stars on this.
And you can do halves if you want.
And halves are allowed.
Yeah. I loved it when I was young, and I've loved this movie through every phase of life. And even now watching it again with as much like psychology, mental health type education that I have now. So I have an even different lens. I feel like I mean, it's hard to say 5 because that feels like it's so hard to give something 5 stars, but I'm like, I don't necessarily see anything wrong with it. Like I don't see anywhere or any reason to remove stars for what it is, especially for small cast, one location, what they were able to do with the budget. The story is, like that's how you got gold, when the story is really what takes
driving force.
The dialogue. Yeah, when the dialogue is that good and the characters are grounded and the actors are grounded and you don't even notice that you're only in one location. So
and $1 million budget. I mean, this is so impressive for $1 million.
Yeah. So I think it's a 5 star. Yeah.
Whoa.
I know. I don't, I'm also nice, but if I really don't like something, then I'm very, I don't give a much, but really when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, there's just not much I would change about it. And I don't have many negative things to say. So for me, I'm like, okay, well then what else would possibly earn 5 stars other than a solid script, being so good with what the budget did, great casting, great dialogue, great set design. Like, yeah, I don't know.
What you just brought up though is something that we factor in a lot. What would garner a 5-star for me? It's like it's the Back to the Futures, it's the Goonies, it's the ones that are in the freaking archive, the National Archive.
Yeah.
So then I
Like
go,
this.
oh, I can't treat every movie like that, even though I might really enjoy it. I think I've only given one 5-star so far, and I can't even remember what it was, but I know we were all surprised by it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was. That does
Was it
sound right, though.
Commando? I was so impressed
Maybe.
with Commando because I thought I'd hate it, and I was just like, this did what it
It would just completely won you over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have an Excel document. I was waiting at a certain point. We'll sort of do a sort of like
Ranking?
a state of the
Revisit.
pod. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about you, Brandon?
Well, I love this movie so much. I have been obsessed with this movie since my obsession with film in general started. I love these characters. I love the conversations that we are able to have about these characters.
Mm-hmm.
I also I like looking at it from an older lens, a lens that is not maybe questioning some of the things in the movie. And I think that that's okay. But this movie, from the John Hughes of it all, the one act play, the soundtrack, the Simple Minds song, like there's so much of it that I just love. Every time I get the opportunity to come and watch it again, I get so excited to pop on this Blu-ray. And I've rebought this movie so many times, and the Criterion just released the 4K of it. Now I'm like, oh man, do I got to upgrade this to 4K now?
Yeah, of course you do.
This film is an easy 5 stars for me. This is one of my top films. I have been obsessed. I don't know if I can kind of covered on it.
You guys are really you're swaying me here.
There is a little tiny Breakfast Club. I don't know if a little
BTC
logo.
Yeah.
I've always thought like, oh, I should get that as a little tattoo. I was always loved that little BTC logo. Ever since I was, 13, 14 years old, it's just been like I've just loved this movie. So this is for sure a 5-star movie in my mind.
Wow. Now I feel better about my 5 stars.
You should both feel good.
I felt good about it to begin with, but no peer pressure. I should say
it's 5 stars and a heart on Letterboxd
already, and then everything you're saying is pushing me towards, to go say 5.
Maybe you're more of a 4 because you gave it a 3. Didn't you? 3.
No, I know. The only question is to whether I would go to a 4. It's not a 5-star for me at all.
Yeah.
It's a 3.5. I just don't do half. So, and I don't think that rounding up is honest for me in this particular case. So I guess I'd have to stick with 3, but it's not because it doesn't deserve more.
I'm not going to fire you from the show because you rated one of my favorite movies 3 stars.
I know that happened to us the other day too, right? I gave something 5 stars and you gave it 3. So, I mean, really, are there other John Hughes movies that I'd rather watch than this? Yes, there are. And that's what it comes down to. And maybe those would be 4 stars for me.
Yeah.
And that's true. I think that there is granted,
like Planes, Trains isn't this. I would give Planes, Trains 4, maybe 5 stars easily. Definitely
I was just going to say
5.
That's exactly the film I was going to use as an example. Like, obviously, I can't go anywhere from 5 stars, but Planes, Trains is a 5-star film for me because the more I watch it, the more I love it every single time.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
And maybe I feel that way about Breakfast Club because I'm enjoying the acting and I'm finding new moments and beats and eye movements in it the more I watch it.
The subtleties of the performances.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying is right. I'm going to stick just because, but this was the closest I've ever come to changing an answer.
Wow.
We'll get you one day. All right. So the reason our show uses 5 stars, Arielle, is because I love this app called Letterboxd. Have you ever heard of Letterboxd?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you log your movies, you rate them out of 5 stars, and you can give them a heart. This is obviously 5 stars and a heart for me. Um, one of the
Oh,
other
can
great
I do
things about
3 stars and a heart? I definitely hearted it.
yeah, I'll make that a note. I'll put a little asterisk, 3 stars and a heart, and I'll put that on the document so we all know.
The hearts will be my halves. That's what I'll do. I'll do that
I love
from now
that.
on.
Well, I shared a reel on the Blockbuster Instagram today because a guy was talking about the heart system on Letterboxd, and I thought it was
Oh, funny.
fantastic. And it was exactly how I feel about the heart system. Is like a movie can be objectively poor quality or mediocre, but you can still give it a heart because you like it,
Yes.
right? There is a
Yes.
difference between quality and enjoyment, or quality and connection, right?
What a
Mhm.
good point. I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
There's
and
some
that's what I
crap
use the
movies that
heart
I
for.
absolutely love and adore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you go through my
Yeah.
letterbox, I got lots of movies that are 2 stars but hearts, right?
2 stars and hearts is my happy place. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
2
That's
stars
a
and a
Saturday
heart.
afternoon movie.
So the other thing that I absolutely love about Letterbox is people can write their personal reviews for movies, and I love reading them. Sometimes they're so funny. So here are some of the reviews that I pulled for The Breakfast Club.
Oh, cute.
Danny says, basically an R-rated version of a Disney Channel original movie, 3 stars.
That's not far off. It's just iCarly with a little bit of innuendo.
Exactly. Charlie says, I'd like to think that every couple of months they'd hang out in a really obscure place.
Oh, I
5
like
stars.
that.
Get back together and hang out under the bridge or something.
Yep.
Totally. Yep.
Some outskirts of town burger joint or something.
Or yeah, I see, but like a deserted amusement park or something. Someplace they're not supposed to be. It's not open.
Oh, true. Yeah. Breakfast Club 2.
Where no one can see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mondays, Electric Boogaloo.
That was great. That hit me
Joe
right at the right
says,
spot.
Joe says, dated as fuck on the surface, frightfully relevant underneath.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
That's
well
a
said.
solid review.
Astute observation.
Yes.
And then Matt says, this film serves as evidence that with just enough weed, we can all get along. 4.5 stars.
Cool.
How many stars did you give? 4?
4.5.
4.5. Yep. And a heart. Valid. Perfect.
Yes, that was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Arielle, for your perspective. I was excited to have you on this episode, and I think it was amazing because there's lots to talk about with these archetypes and these power dynamics, which I think is a really interesting sort of dissection into this 80s classic of The Breakfast Club.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I was so excited when you guys started this project, and I'm delighted to be here and love all the stuff going on in the chat too. So hi, everybody. Also, yeah, just thanks for having me. This has been fantastic.
Yeah. You cracked the 3 hours, so congratulations.
I did.
This is
that.
Yeah.
Well, we started late though, didn't we? How far are we here?
Yeah, but
you're right. 3:08. Oh my gosh.
But I'm looking at the timer. 3 hours and 8 minutes.
Yeah, 3 hours and 8 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The very last thing before we wrap up, our next week's episode. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a friend of mine. His name is Bob Kronbauer. If you're a local person out here in British Columbia, Canada, he's BC Bob. He has an amazing TikTok and Instagram account where he just tells the stories and the history of British Columbia, a lot of the weird stories, a lot of the the highway roadside attraction type stuff. He's wonderful, and we are going to be tackling the made for TV Star Wars movie Ewoks. The Battle for Endor.
Rosie's not on my lap anymore because she looks like an Ewok because she needs a haircut.
This is the sequel to the Ewok adventure, Caravan of Courage, which came out in 1984.
Oh my god!
This stars.
I might be sick next week. I think I'm sick next week. Is next week when I'm sick? I think it's next week I'm sick.
Yeah, I think you're sick next week. Yeah,
this stars Cocoon's own Wilford Brimley.
Great.
a mere 49 years old. Warwick Davis. Yeah. I'm so excited to talk about Ewoks Battle for Endor next week.
Amazing.
Wow. Is that
Jay is
where am I going
very
to find
excited.
that? I'm going to have to. Is that
Disney Plus?
I don't have that.
Yeah. Oh, well, it is out there.
Okay, I'll find it.
I got a
So
combo pack DVD.
I think I'm
I'll
glad
send
that
it
we
in the
went
mail.
this long. The chat has convinced me I'm going to switch it to 4 stars.
Ooh,
No
look at you
way.
go. Wow. Well done, chat.
Daryl Boggs says 4 stars. Jay, come on. It's too iconic in too many ways not to give it 5 stars. And,
Fact.
4 stars.
Well, I can't wait to see what rating you give Desperately Seeking Susan, and then we'll
God.
know all the ratings of the National Film Registry.
I've seen that movie. It's not the worst movie ever made, but it's not good. It's better than
great.
Who's That Girl, which is not good.
Yeah.
And then what's the Cyndi Lauper one too, which is like
oh my God.
Vibes with Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, yeah.
Holy
and that one
shit.
actually, at least I like the idea behind that one, but it wasn't great either. There's something about those movies.
that one's like earlier 80s, I think.
I can't remember where they all were, but it was when all of those singers were famous. They were making movies with them. And Desperately Seeking Susan was the classified ad one, and she's got the dark hair, and it wasn't the Who's That Girl is a little, it's a little weird, a little zanier.
Yeah, I think we did it. I think we cracked the Breakfast Club.
We've answered
the questions. This is the true testament, the true text on everything Breakfast Club. We've answered everything, and we know it all.
Yay!
Well, Arielle, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me, if you can spell my name, which it is in the title, but at Arielle Zadok is my personal Instagram account. You can also come and watch my show, Birds and Bees Don't Fuck, without the U, because censorship is real. So you can find Birds and Bees Don't Fuck on TikTok, on Instagram. It's the website, birdsandbeesdon'tfuck without the U.com. And
doesn't the algorithm, every time you say it, doesn't pick it up anyway? Or are you able to get around it? Just by
I mean, I would have been blocked from more things if I used the U. When I first started, I was going to use the U. And then I was like, I'm already setting myself up for failure. Just get rid of the U. FCK.
No, I agree not using the U. I almost wonder if there was a way to, fick or something. I don't know.
I mean, removing
you have that whole glossary of all these different words.
I did. Yeah.
Anyway.
And then I was like, oh, this is too much work. Anyway, Birds and Bees Don't Fuck. We're coming back for season 3 next week. And so come watch the show. Come find me, follow me. And
congratulations on coming back.
Thank you.
Is that the show that Phil Morris is going to be on, or is that a different show?
That's the show that Phil's going to be on. His episode is not going to air until the summer because I'm producing this like a show now instead of a podcast, because that is just overwhelming when you're completely self-produced. And so, I released a bonus episode because for Patreon, we're doing Reddit stories, which is just me and my guest reading Reddit stories and reacting to them because Reddit is wild. So I have to actually pull some stories for Phil to read tomorrow. It's a good time. We talk about our formative sex education and how terrible it was, because guess what? Birds and bees don't fuck. Humans do, though. So we talk about everything and anything related to sex, intimacy, relationships, kink, all of it. It's just free-flowing conversations. So come and join the party.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Jay, where can people find you on the old internet?
Porsche Life 111 is probably the best place to keep up with whatever the goings-ons are. The late night talk show that we do on the internet, our little podcast, Late Night Playset, is just that, Late Night Playset, Instagram and YouTube. Good Vibes Breakfast Club if you're into cars and car stuff. And if you're, a fan of this type of movies and this age of movies, come on up to Astoria for Goonies 41, Short Circuit 40. We're celebrating Free Willy. We're celebrating all of the films that were shot in Oregon. There'll be a lot of special guests. I'll be hosting some panels. It's going to be a grand time. And a lot of your YouTube friends, such as Brandon and some other folks will be there as well. So come on up. And I'm sure there are other things as well. There's tons of projects happening in the background, but stay tuned.
It's also
How about you,
beautiful.
Brandon?
Yeah.
first and foremost, a Blockbuster year. Subscribe below. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And if you're into movie cars, BC DeLorean is where I am. We've got some exciting stuff we're working on, and
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to sharing some of the projects that we've got going on with everybody at BC DeLorean.
Yeah, and also I should say that Brandon, you and I will. I don't know if this is a public appearance or not, but the Adam the Woo memorial that's coming up in a couple weeks, we'll all be getting together again for that as well. So
Yes.
if you're an Adam the Woo fan, come say hello, please.
Yeah, yeah, and there will be there will be a live stream of Adam's celebration of life on March 8th. At this point, it is on JWW on the Move, which is Adam's dad's YouTube channel. But for the most updated information, you're going to want to follow Justin Scard from Random Land, World of Micah, or Kevin Heimbach. Those are the three sort of individuals that are giving the most current, up-to-date information on everything related to
trustworthy, vetted sources.
Trustworthy sources on everything
Good
related to
information.
Adam the Woo and his celebration of life happening March 8th.
There's always so many rumors going on. If you don't see something from either Kevin or Justin or somebody that you know, it may not be good information.
Yeah. Those are the trusted sources: Micah, Justin, Kevin Heimbach.
Yeah, Micah. Good call, Micah.
Yeah.
I love Micah.
Wonderful.
I fucking love Micah.
Yeah, World of Micah rules. He's still the king. I want to say this.
The longest episode.
Micah is the king with the longest episode, and Robbie Retro almost beat him. Robbie was 16 seconds short on the Fletch episode.
Whoa!
from dethroning World of Micah with the longest episode. So,
and he was milking it at the end too. If we let him milk that thing that we were trying to find, the Teen Wolf thing in Happy Gilmore, oh my gosh,
he was trying.
Wow.
Yeah, Micah's still our king. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Arielle, for being with us.
Thank you, Arielle, for being. This was wonderful. This was so great. Thank you for listening.
Thanks to the chat who's been active all night long, by the way, too. People have been active all night long on YouTube.
Yeah, it's been so. Oh, on YouTube. I didn't even see. I'm just on screencast. Oh, will I be able to see that? Or does it?
No, it's good.
I think that I think the chat goes away on YouTube unless you.
That's what I thought.
Somebody said you can swipe and that you can see the live. I haven't done that yet, but I asked the same question, and one of the audience members said you can swipe and see them.
Yeah, it might be a setting that I have to change, but I'll look into that because I think you can replay the live chat on YouTube.
Okay.
I hope so.
Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great night. We will see you next week, same time, same place, with a Blockbuster year.
And if I may, Arielle and I have. Oh shit! Sorry, I was dueling plugs. I forgot to say, Arielle and I have Jonathan Marager from the U.S. Forest Service on Late Night Playset next week, and that's a really big get for us. We've been wanting him forever, so it's huge. So please check us out on Tuesday in the Late Night Playset.
Yeah,
John Marager will be our guest.
You do 5 or 5:30 on Tuesdays?
5.
5.
5 o'clock Tuesdays, Late Night Playset. Check it out.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
No problem. I'm just holding this up because we're doing it next week, and I know you're such a huge Star Wars fan, Jay.
Guys, have you seen this, guys?
Original VHS release, guys. Wilford Brimley.
So it really irritates me that Wilford Brimley in Cocoon and in this movie is only 1 year older than I am currently. That's fucked up.
But you look so good. What the fuck happened to Wilford Brimley?
Well, thank you for that, but like, what the heck? That doesn't seem possible.
Blanche from the Golden Girls is older than me. Is younger than me. Sorry, she's a year younger than me. She's 41. So
I know that's always the.
He was 41.
That's a really funny one.
41. Yes.
Yeah.
They were all in their 40s or something. It was like, what? Yeah.
I knew Sophia wasn't as old. I knew that was all makeup for her.
Yeah. But she's supposed to be 41.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Which, to be fair, I am looking for a house with 2 of my friends. So we're about to be the kinky Golden Girls, I guess.
Thank you for being a friend.
It's so funny to think of the Golden Girls in their 40s, and John Bender, Judd Nelson is 25 playing a high schooler. Like that age gap is not that difference. We have a senior citizen and we have a high schooler.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anyway.
When I worked down at the OC, like the parents were not old enough to be the kids' parents. You know, the kids, The kids
Yeah.
are 25 playing 18, and then the
Yes.
mom is 31.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their age gap is like 7 years or something. And when you
Yes.
think about it, you're like, oh, that's weird. I don't want to
work.
think about that. Yeah.
I'm almost positive Ben McKenzie was 25 when we first started, or like early, he was in his 20s, and oh shit, his mom, whatever her name was, Kelly Rowan was 31 or 32, and same thing with Julie Cooper. So funny.
I know you hear about that all the time.
Oh well, sorry.
Okay.
Tangent at the end.
I know. You know what? I will say we were pretty on topic the whole show.
There were no room. There was no air for tangents tonight.
No, and so now we're getting all our tangents out at the end.
On this.
Yep.
Well, we were diving deep into the levels of archetypes and power structures.
A lot of that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week, Wednesday.
Thanks for watching. We love
6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We love you. Thank you so much.
Love you, Brandon.
Oh,
Bye.
now this button's not working. Good night, everybody.
Love you, Arielle. Love you, everybody.
Come on, this button is not working.
It's the never-ending show. We're going to be on until his
so
battery dies.
No, we live here now. My epic fist punch in the air meant nothing, so didn't land the same way.
I'm making sure I'm only clicking once. I think I was getting into that weird loop. Okay, everybody pump their fists and we're going to end this show.